It's been 7 months since the era of professional women's soccer in Canada began. And today at BMO Field in Toronto, the first ever NSL champ will be crowned. AFC Toronto has been the class of the league, winning the regular season, spending 15 weeks in first place, and looking destined to hoist the Diana B. Matheson Cup. Helping that cause, 17-year-old NSL Rookie of the Year, Kaylee Hunter. A big reason why Toronto has pumped in more goals than any other team. But the Vancouver Rise cannot be overlooked. They've been the picture of resilience and are bolstered by a well-balanced attack, featuring the likes of Canadian internationals Quinn and Holly Ward, as well as mid-season addition Latifa Abdu. It all comes down to this. We've got the NSL Final coming up next.
It will be AFC Toronto against the Vancouver Rise in the inaugural NSL Final.
Night and day, it's a game of persistence. Will you stare down the face of sacrifice to be the great?
James Ball, brilliant! Esther Okarokwo steals the show.
It's just DiFilippo. What a goal.
To be the greatest. To be the greatest. To be the greatest. To be the
Welcome to the NSL Final presented by Toyota. I'm Kate McKenna and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you today. Probably just as thrilled as these two teams because this was the goal all season long. For 7 months, they have been working for this, a chance to compete in the final and hoist the Diana B. Matheson Cup. They're here, but their roots here have looked dramatically different. So let's check out how they fared in their respective semifinals, starting with AFC Toronto. They faced the Montreal Roses and absolutely dismantled them 6-1 on aggregate, as you can see there. And leg 2 of that matchup, it was a snowy affair, and it featured Esther Okorankwo putting on a show. She scored a hat trick, and in the first half, no less. There she is connecting with one of her favorite teammates, Kaylee Hunter, as she's done so many times before. And she can't stand the snow, but clearly it was no problem for her. Jumping in there with a marquee celebration. She doesn't have to contend with the snow today. Likely just a bit of rain as we look at the starting 11 for AFC Toronto, brought to you by DoorDash. Status quo for this team. They've got a good thing going. They're not messing with it today. So many offensive weapons, which makes them a very challenging team to defend. As for Vancouver, they took a more scenic route to the final, facing the higher-seeded Ottawa Rapid in the semis. Down a goal in the 84th minute of leg 2, Holly Ward ties things up. Morgan McCaslin comes up big in penalties, as does a substitute, Sophia Hegman, hammering home the winner, getting them to this match. Now, Morgan McCaslin will get the start in net again today as we look at the starting 11 for the Vancouver Rise, brought to you by DoorDash. So many individual talents on this team, particularly in the middle of the pitch and up front. AFC Toronto's relatively new defensive unit will have to have the game of their life today. Now, for more on this match, let's hand it over to Andy Petrillo and the panel, who between them, if I've done my math right, have 266 caps for Canada. Andy, how many of those are you responsible for, my friend?
I contributed to every single one as I watched comfortably from my couch while they did all the work. I am so thrilled to be along this esteemed panel. That would be Claire Rustad and Aaron McLeod and Amy Walsh as we get set for this inaugural final. And we saw their paths on how they got here, Amy. But if we look at their head-to-heads, Toronto and Vancouver, does that give us any indication of who maybe has the edge here today?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
No indication. They played each other to a stalemate in the 5 matches that they played, 2 wins apiece and a draw, and the one outlier was a 7-0 drubbing by AFC Toronto versus the Rise. And the last time they met, it was a 10-player Vancouver Rise team that beat AFC Toronto. They are winless at BMO Field, but clarity of identities with these two teams. It's the favorite versus the underdog, AFC versus Vancouver respectively, but it's a swagger, it's a youthful exuberance, it's an audaciousness with Toronto versus a clarity again, but also a collective bravery in that collective, the team, to play this really expansive style of football.
Something else we're also seeing with these two teams is the bigger picture story here, which was always about having this domestic league and how it would feed the national team. And between these two teams, we've seen Latifa Abdu, Holly Ward, Emma Regan, and Kaylee Hunter all get calls. Kaylee Hunter was called into that last window for the women. Unfortunately, didn't play, dealing with an injury, but she got called in for good reason.
Yeah, and Amy can attest to this. I picked this kid out of the first game of the season. I knew
Props,
she'd
Claire.
be a star.
Props.
Yeah, thanks. Not a two-pound whore or anything. This is my opportunity for that, isn't it?
Do it.
But look at the stats. The stats don't lie for this kid. She's got a tenacious fearlessness about the way that she plays, but the maturity of someone a decade her senior. She's developed a great goal-scoring partnership with Okaranko up front. The two of them play really well off of each other, but the thing I like about Kaylee Hunter is her internal compass. She knows exactly where she is on the field, and she utilizes that number 10 space really, really well. Her first look, you can see it here, she's looking over her shoulder. Her first look is to go forward. She gets her body half turned when she receives this ball, and that's where her first touch goes. She's great at scoring individually, but realistically, this kid, she's not really interested if she's scoring, she's just interested in her team scoring. She uses width really well. Again, looking to get her body half turned and look up the field, and her distribution is no joke. Excellent distribution from her. She just partners really well with anybody who she plays with, but again, finding that little space. Great part about teenagers being able to play in this league is they don't care. They're willing to try things. They're willing to use their footwork. They're willing to try to go forward. I'm really excited to see what she has in store for us today.
By the way, that's not being disrespectful by saying kid, because she is 17.
Actually a kid.
She is 17 years old, but been fearless. 14 goals on the season, just 4 behind the Golden Boot winner of DB Pridden, who plays for Ottawa. So yeah, she can score some goals. Let's get now to the captain of AFC Toronto, Emma Regan. She's played in every single minute for this club this season. She's our WestJet pitchside interview with the other member of our group, Rob Pizzo.
So Emma, coming into this championship game, everything's gone right for your team. You've been in first place for months. You cruised in the semifinal. As one of the leaders of this team, how do you make sure all the emotions are where they should be, seeing as everything's just been going right for so long for your team?
It has been going right, but for a reason. I think we put in the work to do that. It's not luck that we get the results we do, so it's business as usual. We've been trying to play every game this year as if it was the final. This is obviously the most important game of the year, but we've had a lot of important wins over the course of the season, so we're looking to just play our game. I think the emotions are going to be something to manage, but we're used to that. We're used to some adversity. We're used to big moments, and big players, big teams step up in those moments.
Speaking of managing, last week you had snow. Now we've got lightning and rain. If it is a wet one out there, do you attack the game any differently?
Honestly, no. We've shown we can play in pretty much everything. We've had downpours this season as well, so we're prepared. I'm sure Vancouver will be prepared as well. Hopefully we just kind of persevere through anything that's thrown at us today.
Thanks so much. Good luck today.
Thank you so much.
From the attack of AFC Toronto, let's talk about the defense with Vancouver Rise and that ultimate defender and Morgan McCaslin in net, the Golden Glove winner. 9 clean sheets on the season. We have our resident goalkeeper here on set with us. What makes her so effective?
Yes, McCaslin has been a really key player for them. McCaslin is almost 6 feet tall, so anytime that you have a tall goalkeeper, one of the most important things is their footwork. And throughout the season, you've really seen her improve in this area. Erin McNulty, her goalkeeper coach, I know this has been a focus. You can see in these clips here, she's not just pushing off her inside foot, she's taking small little shuffle steps that help her, and here's another angle, to help her build that little bit of momentum. And because she's taller, she's able to transfer her power to her fingertips quicker. You can see in these clips, she's been absolutely instrumental for them, especially in the PKs. One would argue they may not be here without her. And you can see that little shuffle step at that angle again. So this is going to be key for her. Other key things that will be important today, Hunter and Small have these quick releases when they shoot. That means she's going to have her feet set even earlier than usual. And of course, shots at the top of the box. We've got Regan, we've got Hunter, we've got Okaranko. She has always got to be ready for those. And lastly, Toronto is deadly in the final third when they're looking at that diagonal pass, straight run, or straight pass for diagonal run, which ends up eliminating the defenders. She could be 1v1 situations a lot, so she'll have to be on her front foot, to be effective today.
What does it feel like to be tall? I don't know.
I don't know. I think Erin just called tall people slow.
Well,
no, that is not what I said in my analysis.
Panel has good footwork.
We get good there. Footwork. All right.
Very great footwork if we're going based on size. By the way, I'm also wearing heels. Let's get to Samantha Chang with Rob Pizzo, our other WestJet pitch site interview.
So Samantha, your team has really rounded into form over the second half of this season. How good does it feel for your confidence to come into such a big match, riding high and just playing well right now?
Yeah, I mean, it gives us a lot of confidence that we've been doing so well. You know, we definitely picked it up in the second half, and we took a lot of learnings from the first half of the season to grow into the second half. And, you know, the way we played in the semifinal leg, we definitely want to keep that momentum going here today. But yeah, it definitely gives us a lot of confidence that we're peaking at the right time.
Now, this match isn't on your home field, but you, like so many of your teammates, are from this area. How does it feel to have such a big match, championship, everything on the line, and get to do it so close to home?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing for us, you know, GTA grown players. A lot of us have friends and family in the stands, so it's really nice for us. And, you know, even though it is an away game and Toronto is a home team and they're going to have tons of fans out there, it'll feel nice to, you know, look in the crowd and see at least a bit of blue for sure in our friends and family. So it's great.
How many do you have here?
I have like 40 total-ish, friends, family, aunts, uncles, cousins, everybody. Like, my family's the best, so they're really showing out for me today.
Good luck today. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, expected about 12,000 here inside BMO Field for this inaugural Northern Super League final. Back to you, Kate.
Thank you so much, Andy. The action is picking up here as players warm up on the pitch. There you see them greeting fans on the way in. It's time for a break. When we return, we'll chat with league co-founder Diana Matheson and the greatest to play the game, Christine Sinclair. You're watching the NSL Final live from BMO Field.
Force G under 11 black, Force G under 12 white, and Force G under 14 black. With BFC, Future Girls, and YMCA. Fans are proud to welcome a very special group to the Northern Super League Final. Thanks to our partners at Intact Insurance. Young fans with the Kids Up Front program are here with us and experiencing their very first women's professional soccer match. Let's make sure the match is one they'll never forget. Give a huge NSL welcome to these amazing young fans joining us today. Big welcome to the NSL family. Thank you to Intact Insurance for helping grow the game from the grassroots up.
Canada's largest claims team, it's no accident that we can get you back on track faster. Thanks, guys. You really went above and beyond. Only Intact answers 2 million claim calls per year within 20 seconds.
What would it mean to you to get the chance to lift the trophy Saturday in the first ever NSL final?
Lifting the trophy would probably mean everything. I mean, it's like what you've worked for this entire season.
Honestly, it would be so special.
It would be like a full circle moment. That's all we've worked for.
I think it would be really special. I haven't won a championship in my club career. I've gotten pretty darn close a few times.
It'd mean a lot. There's so many things going on behind the scenes that people don't see, and I want to win just for that collective feeling this season.
We've been working for this all season, and our sights have always been on the final.
Lifting the trophy would mean Toronto has done something that's never been done before.
It would be pretty cool.
It would just be like a ice in the cake.
It would be iconic.
It would just prove that hard work does pay off, and that's why I'm doing it.
For me, just like my family and all the sacrifice they've made for me, and just I hope to make them proud and just make Toronto proud as a city.
That would be a thing off my bucket list for sure, and to do it at home would be would be a whole other story.
Lifting a trophy in the first season would complete the double for us. We'll be basically fulfilling all our collective goals that we've had this year.
The very first day we had the goal up there, we wanted to be in the final. When you go into a final, you want to win it, so it would mean everything.
To lift that up is just everything to us.
It would be everything to lift it.
Welcome back to the NSL Final. Some players and coaches there reflecting on what it would mean to hoist the Diana B. Matheson Cup. Speaking of which, guess who I have the pleasure of being joined by? Diana Matheson herself, the league co-founder, also chief growth officer, and the greatest of all time, three-time Olympian and co-owner of the Vancouver Rise, Christine Sinclair. It's great to be here with both of you. And Diana, I want to start with you. Year one of this league, almost in the books. How did the reality of it compare to what you anticipated?
Oh, it is cliche to say, but it's literally a dream come true. Like this is what we tried to build this year. It was a world-class product on the field and packed stands, even though we were building this thing from scratch. But we know we're in a world-class women's soccer country. That is Canada, so we had high ambitions, and I would say we've met that. The only thing we couldn't control today, probably the weather and Toronto traffic. But other than that, pretty happy with where we're at.
You can never control either of those things. Christine, you have been outspoken about the lack of a pipeline for girls in this country when it comes to playing soccer. How does a day like today, an event of this magnitude, Canadians playing starring roles on the pitch, how does it impact that pipeline?
Yeah, I think for the longest time here in Canada, players were making the national team by chance. And now with the NSL, it's by design. There's a clear pipeline for young kids. The young kids in the stands now can go week in, week out, watch their heroes play and dream. And then to see a spectacle like today is going to be, it's just to showcase these amazing, talented, world-class athletes. It's changed everything, and the future of the national team is so bright because of it.
Diana, I know you're always thinking ahead. It's part of who you are. It's also part of your job title. So when you think ahead to the future of this league, what are you thinking about?
We've got expansion. We've announced we're going to add one team for the 2027 season, so that's on the go. I think the introduction of regional football, the magic of soccer, we get to play against the other leagues in the world. AFC Toronto is going to compete in the World Sevens in December. We're looking at entry into the W Champions Cup next year, and just looking to build and grow. We just announced a federal partnership where we're going to be investing in existing soccer infrastructure in this country. We want to keep building and investing in Canada.
Christine, you've had some big moments on the pitch as a player, but I'm wondering, the nerves as a player versus the nerves as an owner, how do they compare?
This is much worse. You know, as a player, you can at least have some impact on the result. Right now, I'm just walking around the stadium pacing. Hopefully that we've put in all the work. Hopefully the players can go enjoy themselves, and it's a great game. Then Vancouver squeaks out a win.
Well, AFC Toronto fans will have something to say about that. But listen, thank you both so much for being here. I hope you can enjoy the match today. It's time for a break, but when we return, journalist Shireen Ahmed will join me to chat about her favorite storylines of the season. You're watching the NSL, presented by BMO. Stay with us.
This Northern Super League match is supported by BMO, the official bank of the NSL.
Oh, I'm like big fan.
At BMO Field in Toronto, Kate McKenna with you alongside journalist Shireen Ahmed, who's been covering the league so brilliantly all season long. And Shireen, there have been so many storylines this season. I know 2 of them in particular have stood out to you. The first has to do with on-field drama involving a player from each of these teams, Vancouver's Latifa Abdu and Toronto's Kyla Novak.
As a journalist, I love tension, and you know that. But Latifa Abdu's switch from Montreal Roses to Vancouver Rise was done at a very interesting point of the season. And her being able to connect with the team and really study really hard, as she told me in an interview, was to really connect with that team, with that squad, and find her place. She's thriving up top with Jesse Filippo, and it's showing. And we'll see what happens today if she can repeat that and it ends in a trophy. And then, of course, moving on to Kai Novak, who has actually served a 3-game suspension for a red card, which was, some people argued, was a little bit controversial. It was appealed by AFC Toronto, and Canada Soccer ruled that down. Now, she has something to prove today. She missed all the playoffs. She's raring to go, and it'll be really interesting to see what happens on the pitch.
No kidding, whether she gets in this match or not. And it was a red card, by the way, for violent conduct. Now to another storyline you love, which was the fans. There were a lot of question marks around this season. One of them was the fans. Would they show up? How would they engage? How have they done?
The fans from coast to coast in this league, whether it was the Crow Collective on the West Coast all the way to the Beacons in Halifax, Nova Scotia, have really, really pulled up to support their markets, support their teams, and become a community. And we'll see later in the game, I have a tip, Kate, that there's something really beautiful that's going to be a tifo that they've all worked on collectively that really encases and encapsulates the spirit of this league and what it means to support women's professional soccer in Canada. We are so lucky to have that and to witness it, and they consider themselves an essential part of this league.
It's funny you say that. Head coach of Vancouver, Anya Hanner-Muller, told us yesterday that as a Dane, she has become such a fan of this country and its fans by traveling to each of these team cities. She's called herself a lucky tourist, which we had a good laugh about. But Shireen, thank you so much for your work today, your contributions all season long. You've been magnificent. 2 other women who have been absolutely magnificent this season have been Signa Butler and Amy Walsh. They're calling the match today. Let's send it up to them now.
Thanks so much, Kate and Shireen. You know what? One of the intrigues of this matchup today has to be in the middle of the park. 2 ever-present central midfielders, and I'm talking about AFC Toronto captain Emma Regan and Vancouver Rise captain Samantha Chang. And they both got their teams here, but in different ways.
Both of them are emblematic about the way their teams play, and I think both of them, their individual performances will be bellwethers of how the respective team goes. So how Sam Chang goes, Vancouver will go, and the same thing for Emma Regan. But they won't be pitted head-to-head. You're really seeing the brilliance of both of these players emerge. Obviously, the Iron Woman being Emma Regan, great on both sides of the ball, but she can also contribute offensively. 3 goals this season, and all of them coming from that area just outside the box. But you see the work rate, you see the industry. Catching up to Holly Ward, they're one of her pals, but she's up to the task. So it's the off-the-ball work, but it's also what she's contributing going forward in the build-up. Now, Sam Chang, this is a true box-to-box player, and no better way to show it than to actually watch her go box-to-box. So little combination play, that darting run forward where she stretches opponents' back lines, and she has that shot from distance. We know her brilliance on set pieces, but she can do it in the run of play as well. So watch out for Sam Chang today and how she pits up against 2 offensive players in Stratigakis and Small for AFC Toronto.
It's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. And Emma Regan and Sam Chang, both former teammates with the Whitecaps Academy and with their Danish club. Cool. We learned how to say that. Thanks, Anya Hanner-Muller, for that pronunciation. Let's send it back down to Andy.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where was our, you guys have been magnificent too all season long. I want to say you've been absolutely magnificent. Here we go. Victoria Pickett, I want to focus a little bit on her on that back line for AFC Toronto because you think she's going to be challenged here today.
Absolutely. I understand why Marko Milanovic wants her on the field. You always want your best 11, and she's fantastic in possession. We've seen it the last couple games, her driving forward, and Regan has had to fill in that space for her. But where she's really going to be tested today, because Vancouver has a lot of threats, is first of all that electric relationship between Abdu and De Filippo. Their opposite movement is really hard to handle. And then you have to think about Holly Ward. Okay, she's all right as well. always rolling inside. Also, if she gets in behind, she's going to cut inside and take that shot. And last but not least, as they've already mentioned, Samantha Chang will look to get into that space behind Pickett. So she's going to be busy, and Burns and Rollins are going to have to keep her in line tonight.
Yeah, because she's normally a midfielder, right? So playing on that in the back line, the last few games, maybe not as challenged, but this is a championship game. It's going to be a completely different ball game. Speaking of that, all the teams are saying all the right things. Treat it like it's a regular season game. Stay within ourselves. Just, you know, enjoy the moment, but don't get caught up on it. We know that that is easier said than done, and the two of you have played in massive games between Olympics and World Cups and U19 World Cups as well. You had an experience where you were feeling pretty cool until you weren't.
Well, no, it happened to me for most of these international matches, especially the really big ticket ones. The Olympics was the first one I thought of when you asked me this question earlier. That first game of the Olympic Games, all the nerves, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and you know, FIFA, CONCACAF, the IOC can always be very hurry up and wait, right? So you make that time what it is, and it's always very entertaining in the locker room. But for me, it wasn't until we stepped onto the pitch, and then there's that delay again, the delay for TV before the referee blows the whistle, and that's the moment you look around. You see how many people are there. You feel the lights. You feel the humidity in the air. That was the moment where it's like, it is too late to turn back now. This is happening. That's when the switch turned for me. I don't know what your experience was like, Erin. If it was similar.
Oh, I was just nervous all the time and stressed all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So no matter what, no matter where I was, I was nervous.
Yeah. I mean, playing was how I coped, right? Yeah. Running, playing, that's how I coped. So I always felt the most comfortable when I was playing.
Yeah, and as a goalkeeper, you're just standing there too, and you're just waiting for that first shot.
Standing there. Oh my God.
It's okay. I won't take that personally.
No, I mean, you move around, but I'm just saying compared to field players. Oh my goodness, this is a tough crowd here today, but you know who has it the toughest is the person who has to stand pitch side, especially if it starts raining. Let's go to Rob Pizzo.
If it starts raining, it has begun to rain. About 10 seconds before it came on the air. Perfect timing, because that is what everyone is talking about today. Last week, it was about the wind and the cold and, of course, the snow, but it's rain and lightning. Now, here's the thing. You can play through rain. You can't play through lightning, so we'll keep our eyes to the sky to see if we see any lightning strikes. But for now, it's just a little drizzle, so we should be able to go. And don't forget what Marko Milanovic, the head coach for AFC, told us yesterday when we spoke to him. He said what he went through last week, this is basically Florida.
If he was throwing back to me, I wouldn't know what.
Field in Toronto, AFC Toronto against the Vancouver Rise. You're watching the Northern Super League.
This Northern Super League match is supported by Toyota, proud founding partner of the NSL.
The Northern Super League's first season began as a dream, a project, a movement. Now, what's left is a moment as Vancouver Rise and AFC Toronto compete in the final. Vancouver fought through injuries, endured intense travel to rise up and meet the challenge. They peaked to become precision engines in the middle of the park and lethal up front. The Rise elevated play and navigated rapid torrents to prevail and bring them to this moment.
The Vancouver Rise move on to the NSL final.
Toronto shielded themselves from any element to persevere, led by a Hunter and a Super Falcon in full flight. Their ability to dominate ruthlessly has been made clear. They ran it their way this season. Now, BMO Field is the final destination. Will Vancouver secure their ascent and reach the summit? Or will Toronto continue their path of joy and confidently triumph? Now is the moment to be loud, to realize dreams, to make history.
Well, hello, Canada. Bonjour. How's everyone feeling? It is incredible to be here at the very first Northern Super League final, the championship match for Canada's first ever women's professional soccer league. To everyone here at BMO Field, everyone watching across the country and around the world, welcome to history in the making. Standing here surrounded by these amazing young players, it's impossible not to feel proud. Tonight is not just about who lifts the trophy. It's about everything this moment stands for. Progress, belief, and possibility. It's about showing the next generation, like those behind me, that their dreams belong right here. And that together, we will keep making space for them to grow. So let's celebrate this league, our phenomenal athletes, our incredible fans, and the bright future of the Northern Super League. Let's hear it, Canada. Now, please welcome the presidents of all 6 Northern Super League clubs: the Halifax Tides, Montreal Roses, Ottawa Rapid, AFC Toronto, Calgary Wild, and the Vancouver Rise. Leading them is NSL founder Diana B. Matheson with the cup that bears her name, a new symbol of Canadian soccer excellence.
Fans, as we celebrate our championship game, we pause to recognize we are gathering today on the Treaty 13 lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the traditional territories of the Haudenosaunee and the Huron-Wendat peoples. Toronto is also home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples whose presence continues to enrich this city. The Northern Super League is committed to listening, learning, and advancing the principles of truth and reconciliation, and to building a future in Canadian sport grounded in respect, access, and unity.
It's a game of Mr. Ocaraquo steals the show.
Just DiFilippo.
What a goal.
Fans, please welcome AFC Toronto and Vancouver Rise FC to the pitch for today's NSL Final. Today's game ball, please welcome the Honorable Evan Sullivan, Minister of AI and Digital Innovation and Minister responsible for Federal Development in Ontario.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. This is fantastic. Let's do it. All right.
Et maintenant, voyez vous lever pour l'hymne national du Canada. And now, please rise as you're able and remove your hats for the singing of O Canada, performed by the Myriad Ensemble of Burlington, Ontario.
Well, what a thrilling pregame. I can't wait to get to the actual match. Amy Walsh, as everybody disperses on the field, the players getting ready for this inaugural Northern Super League Championship. Well, AFC Toronto, led by their coach, Marko Milanovic, didn't make any changes to his starting 11, decided that the status quo was the way to go. And why not? The way they rolled into these playoffs with a 6-1 aggregate win over the Montreal Roses. Let's take a look at the starting 11, lining up in their familiar 3-5-2 up front with that deadly duo of Esther Okoronkwo and the 17-year-old Kaylee Hunter. Emma Regan anchors the midfield, their team captain. So again, no changes for Marko Milanovic. He's been sticking with that side for much of the season. Some injuries on the back line, but we'll talk about that throughout the match. There is the man who spent a decade coaching in the North Toronto Soccer Club, the bones of where AFC Toronto was formed, and now finds himself the Supporters' Shield winners, leading them into the playoffs. As for Anya Heiner-Moller, Vancouver, well, it's kind of a home for her. She spent time coaching in the Whitecaps Academy system in 2017 and decided she had her eye on this league. She wanted to come back to Canada. She loves it here, and she's led her team from some precarious moments this season where they were out of the playoff picture all the way to 3rd place. Their starting 11 unchanged from their match against the Ottawa Rapid, who they dismantled in penalty kicks. 4-3-3, again, their midfield stacked. Quinn, Samantha Chang, Lisa Pechersky, and don't count out that front line as well. Both teams gathering before kickoff. Final words of encouragement. Final words to charge towards the Diana B. Matheson Cup. Well, Amy Walsh, what are you expecting between these two teams? You said a little bit off the top of the show. Let's go back to you on that one.
Yeah, I think that panel with Andy, Claire, and Erin covered it brilliantly, but I alluded to the fact that I think this game is going to give us goals. Both coaches have talked about wanting to play an entertaining brand of football. Milanovic especially, so that's an energetic, high-pressing, high-tempo team. They want to stretch Vancouver, play between the lines, but the expansive style, you mentioned a 4-3-3 with Vancouver, they build with the back three. So if AFC Toronto can go more vertical, a little bit more aggressive, I think it's going to be an open game. I don't think it's two different playing styles canceling each other out. I think it's two heavyweights rising to the occasion. I'm not being pro-Vancouver there, but I just think the occasion will call for it. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be goals.
Vancouver today wearing their All Blacks, the Midnight Kit as they're known. And AFC Toronto wearing their white and baby blue kit, their city design kit today. There is the back line of Vancouver Rise getting together, led by Jessica Cowart, Philippines International at center back. And Sierra Cotillard on the other side of things, the 22-year-old in goal for Toronto, talking to her back line. A bit of a makeshift back line. Sarah Rollins, the 20-year-old, at the center, Ashley Cathro at the left, and Victoria Pickett, the midfielder, turned defender in the playoffs. Moments away from this inaugural NSL final at BMO Field in Toronto. AFC Toronto, Vancouver Rise, getting set to kick off. More history will be made today. Quinn sending the ball deep into the AFC Toronto zone, out for a goal kick.
And that's by design. I mentioned AFC Toronto wanting to be really aggressive and suffocating their press, but the Vancouver Rise have a well-drilled press of their own, so they want to try to pin AFC Toronto and hem them in their own end.
Out to Victoria Pickett, challenged by Latifa Abdu, gets out of trouble. And Hunter trying to release Esther Okoronkwo. And out for a throw-in.
That might be a little bit of alarm bells ringing there for Vancouver, because that was much too easy for AFC Toronto. One-touch football, just get out of their own end and almost into the attacking third.
Cotillard up to Okoronkwo, off her shins. And Nikki Small taken down. First whistle of the game from Marie-Soleil Baudouin, who's in the middle of the pitch for the 15th time this season. Our inaugural match referee between Vancouver and Calgary way back in April. Throw to Colby Barnett. California native says she doesn't mind this November weather. She's gotten used to it. Timely tackle by Jess Cowart. Jasmine Spencer under some pressure.
You see the numbers immediately, the counter press employed by AFC Toronto, swarming the ball carriers for the Vancouver Rise so they win that ball back.
Pickett looking into Nikki Small. Stopped by Holly Ward, backtracking. Okoronkwo shielding as the Super Falcon does so well, gives the ball away.
Holds her hand up there, gave the ball away cheaply when she had Vancouver under duress, close to the byline, looking to win either a corner from there or get a cross swung in and test McCaslin.
Small laying it back to Zoe Burns. Vancouver now with the ball. Across the front of goal. And in Hunter, a chance to turn. Goes to the feet of Okoronkwo. Okoronkwo looking for that left foot. Nikki Small takes a deflection, and Morgan McCaslin with her first touch of this match.
See the numbers that AFC Toronto throw forward work to their advantage when they're trying to win the ball back, and uncharacteristically there, that ball slipped in, finds Kaylee Hunter, and she turns the wrong way. If she'd opened her body up the other way, she maybe would have had a chance at goal from the top of the box.
Quinn switching the pitch all the way over to Holly Ward. Holly Ward taking a charge down that left side. Broken up. Pickett tried to get out of there. Midfield style, escapes with it.
Marko Milanovic was talking about that. The midfielder deployed as the right back, just towing that line between the risk and the reward.
Okamoto, a summer transfer signing from the Vancouver Rise. Long throw in, finds Latifa Abdu. She can fire from there. Don't want to give her much space. AFC corralling on the ball, and that will go out for a Vancouver Rise throw in.
And just off the throw, saw Latifa Abdu find that ball to feet in the attacking third, and you see that intuitive attacking movement by DiFilippo. They're such a great complementary attacking duo for the Rise.
Regan elects to push the ball all the way back to Jessica Cowart. Jasmine Spencer. DiFilippo keeps that alive. Lisa Peczerski looking forward for Abdu. Barnett battling with DiFilippo, yanked down. And Marie-Soleil Baudouin will want a little word. The shirt tug is often a yellow. Little warning this time.
And also I think a warning for Barnett to say, cool it, I will decide when and where I award the cautions. As soon as Barnett was to her feet, she's willing the referee to caution DiFilippo.
Long ball forward. That's Cowart. Quinn was looking for an on-charging Peczerski. Here she comes now, challenging Barnett. This will be an interesting battle today between two workhorses in the NSL.
You can see Cathro sucked out of that space and that right flank and that channel weaponized for the Rise.
Quinn, some space. Was looking for Ward, broken up by Zoe Burns. Spencer across to Okamoto. Ollie Ward, 1v1. Burns will send it out for a corner kick, our first corner of the match.
And we mentioned in our Chang versus Regan pack, that's going to be the midfield battle right now, but it's going to be midfield versus midfield to see who has the upper hand in this match. But Sam Chang, somebody that we highlighted there, is absolutely lethal on this service over there with Quinn right now. Two of them there might play the short, but Di Filippo clearly the target.
Quinn taking the corner for Vancouver, driving it into that near post, hits the mesh.
So Quinn and Ward short, 2 Cody yards right with Chang in that 6. Different look for the Rise, but they certainly have the variety and the different personnel who can hit those free kicks.
Cody Yard pops that up the pitch. Headed down by Rebecca Lake. Ball bounces to the feet of Nikki Small. Playing it in behind for Okoronkwo. Doesn't have any numbers. Okoronkwo by herself. Okoronkwo looked across goal and it's skipped by McCaslin.
And I think she even got fingertips to that, Signa.
Stratigakis off of Spencer and out for a corner kick. So a bit back and forth here in the early goings at BMO Field.
And Nikki Small so critical in the build-up. That same channel ball to Esther Okoronkwo drives the byline. Looks like she might cut it back. She had Stratigakis and Hunter flooding the box, but went to goal herself. McCaslin had to be ready and protect that near post.
Emma Regan, 25-year-old Burnaby, BC native. Short corner to Nikki Small. Into the box, back post!
Oh my goodness!
And you won't see that often. Kaylee Hunter missing that prime opportunity as AFC Toronto fans look on.
Straight from the training ground, this one. Nikki Small checks to ball, passes it back on an angle to Emma Regan. First time swings that in, and she's unbalanced the Rise defense. And you had Hunter just ghosting into that back post. You had numbers for the Rise, but that came very close to being the opening goal for this NSL final.
So some heart palpitations, I'm sure, on the side of the Vancouver Rise. The first real scoring opportunity of this match. Ashley Cathro, a Victoria, BC native, so we talked a little bit about both of these teams having some players from each other's regions. Hunter, lovely layoff to Barnett. Barnett. That left-footed Cruyff turn she's so known for. Cuts it back again and again! Over the head of Okoronkwo! Some great individual work from Colby Barnett.
Turning Lisa Pechersky inside out. And that all started with a more direct ball from Sarah Rollins, finding the feet of Kaylee Hunter.
And it is on the feet of Kaylee Hunter. She looked to goal right away. Blocked by Nikki Small. Small charges forward. And the ball skips off the foot of McCaslin. Out for a corner kick, but AFC is on the prowl.
Wave after wave of attack now from AFC Toronto, giving Vancouver Rise very little respite here from this storm. And Nikki Small just not wanting to be denied here, just cuts through 2 defenders between Lake and Okamoto and has a chance on goal. Came very, very close. They are just buzzing right now, AFC Toronto.
Just over 10 minutes into this match, the inaugural NSL final. Captain Emma Regan on the corner. The in swing, headed away by Jess Di Filippo. Barnett looked to Regan, and Okoronkwo nearly got at the end of that one. Cleared away from danger, back up to midfield, and you talked about the respite, needing a little bit of a breather.
But Emma Regan seeing this just on the line beautifully, had a yard about there to work with, cuts in behind and beautifully opens her body up, and then with her right foot squares it across and just misses connecting with Okoronkwo.
Kaylee Hunter, touch out of foot to give herself some space. Deflected off of Holly Ward, who's having to do a whole lot of defending early on in this match. Burns tried to cross in behind the defenders, just went awry.
We've seen a number of crosses now. We've seen AFC Toronto threaten from those central channels, but it's been the width that they're creating in the attack and really threatening from those wide areas, whether it's Regan on set pieces or it's Barnett, or we just saw there with Burns, and I think that's where they can test McCaslin.
Spencer's pass picked off. Small, a shot on goal. McCaslin, like Velcro, scoops that up.
We heard Claire Rustad talk about how impressed she's been with Kaylee Hunter. I know there that is all Nikki Small, and for chance creation, she leads the way in the league, but it's that little movement, that little run by Kaylee Hunter that just opens up the space for Small to be able to get that shot off.
Quinn moving the ball across to Okamoto. Back to Rebecca Lake. Jess Cowart, who's been at center back all season. Of course, the ACL injury to both Captain Shannon Weller and Ariel Young. Kennedy Faulkner unavailable at center back as well, so they've had to have some makeshift back line. Rebecca Lake coming over as a summer transfer signing, former New Zealand Youth International.
They have grown into that partnership. It's been makeshift for a little while now and moving players square pegs into round holes, but I think the acquisition of Lake gave them the stability they needed in that back line.
Hunter, poked away by Okamoto. Pickett, pushing forward, small little slide tackle layoff. Almost got to a breaking Strategakis.
It's almost showing off, isn't it? A slide tackle layoff? Like, what can Nikki Small do?
Rollins cuts it back. Heady move by the 20-year-old.
Such composure on the ball.
Barnett, the cross in, headed away by Cowart, and again a little touch. Regan to her left foot, the strike! What a save by McCaslin! And McCaslin stops things again in their tracks, and that was a huge save.
AFC Toronto on the front foot, completely dictating terms to the Vancouverites. Great little play by Strategakis to open it up for Regan. And we saw Signa in that little pack that we did from the booth, talking about Emma Regan and her threat outside the box. She can do it with both feet.
Barnett along the left touch line, goes out of bounds.
That is going to be a good battle in that channel between Pachursky and Barnett, both of them tireless. Great little inside-outside move with Regan, and she has that little bit of daylight just by Cowart, and maybe disguised a little bit, but McCaslin able to come up big with the save. Leader in shot stopping this year for the Rise and for the league.
Spencer moving forward, has Abdu running on, cuts around Rollins. Ashley Cathro gets back in time, draws the foul on Abdu.
And great support. I mean, this is the back line. This is their third game working together with Rollins at the heart of it. So you see the support, you see the coverage by Cathro coming back. to cover for Rollins.
AFC Toronto's back line missing 2 players due to injury. Croy Soto, who is a fixture at center back for them this season, as well as Kayla Hansen.
Dealing with some concussion problems and available today, but it's been about a month since he's played. So I think this team, or this back 3, has shown, obviously you have Burns and Barnett who slide into that back 5 when needed. They've done extremely well.
Quinn released the ball forward. Abdu chases it down. But again, Pickett. Anticipation. Breakneck pace here, Amy Walsh, getting the going here. We're not even 20 minutes into this match.
I want to say I told you so, Signum, but I said this thing was going to be a high-flying affair. And Victoria Pickett very much involved, very influential from the get-go for AFC Toronto.
Again, both of these teams do love to have the ball. They said the pitch here at BMO Field is in great shape. It's playing really fast. Some concerns after the Canadian men's team played Ecuador on Thursday night. Would the field be chopped up? Not at all. Running very, very well.
It runs fast, it plays quick, but I think this favors both of these teams.
Strategakis, Regan, Small, Hunter. Back to Small. Burns. You could hear no corner, no corner. That's out for a throw.
Now you mentioned it off the top, Signa. Ward having to do a tremendous amount of defending early on, but doing a very good job to neutralize anything that's coming down that right channel.
Abdu also having to come back. Sierra Cotillard off her line, often stays in close touch with her back line in the way that the AFC Toronto wants to play. Strategakis turning inside. Sarah Rollins. And Pickett charging inside. The through ball. Strategakis sending it through. Haley Hunter goes to the right foot. And this time it's in. Off the foot of Matheson and in. Kaylee Hunter. Would there be anyone else?
It was going to be Hunter. It was Okoronkwo in the second leg of those semifinals with that hat trick in 27 minutes. And Kaylee Hunter, I think, leaning on that corner stick, on that corner flag. This is my day. And again, Victoria Pickett, instrumental in the build-up to this play. Some one-touch football by AFC Toronto sees them open the scoring here. It's a great run again, holds it, hesitates, back to feet, and then releases her into space. Cuts it inside, has it on that left foot, decides to go with the right, slightly disguised again, and beats McCaslin. So as she comes in, she cuts the angle, and then brings it back outside and through the legs of McCaslin. So all credit to the youngster, to the 17-year-old, to open the scoring here. But Morgan McCaslin will want that one back. I think caught between two minds, trying to protect that near post, thinking that Hunter was maybe going to go across her, and beats her through the legs.
Second goal of the playoffs for Kaylee Hunter, the 17-year-old from Calgary, Alberta. Morgan McCaslin, who moments ago had a wonderful save off an Emma Regan strike, lets one through. If we know anything about the Vancouver Rise, they are a resilient team. And look at that, the ball forward right away. Sierra Cotillard off her line to sweep it away.
Her ability to read the game, her timing to leave her box and to come and clear those balls has just improved game on game on game throughout this year. You're really seeing the maturation in the way that she plays aggressively behind that back three.
Strategakis. Small play through to Okoronkwo. The quick turn to her forward partner, Kaylee Hunter. Hunter, the strike from distance, and goes out of bounds. Let's go down to pitch side and Rob Pizzo.
Well, Signa, Amy, you both know this. Athletes are superstitious, and our goal scorer today, Kaylee Hunter, no different. If you ask her where she puts all of her money, it's into her cleats. This is her superstition. She has 5 pair of cleats in her locker at all times. She has another 4 pair at home, and you might think, well, is that a bit of overkill? Well, not so much, because she puts a lot of thought into what cleats she's going to wear. She takes into account the kit, the vibe, whether or not it's grass and her cleats are going to get dirty, and also she has to have a brand new pair of Nike socks for every game. That may seem weird to people like us, but 15 goals and then 1 today, I think it's actually working for her.
Thanks, Rob. All that, I was going to say allowance money, but she's making a pro contract right now, so she can use that money towards the boots. Burns, the cross out of bounds. Were you one that buffed up your boots before every game? Did you like to polish before every game?
No, not before every game, but there certainly was a routine and there was a dedicated pair for certain conditions. And I feel like with the players who have worked through the varying conditions and the poor ones of late, like if you have to switch boots, that it maybe plays into your head.
Spencer sends it up. Regan manages to get that out of the foot of Abdu. Regan into trouble. Rarely gives up the ball. Gives it up to Abdu. Abdu going solo. Looking for the strike on goal. That goes wide, but a rare miscue from the AFC Toronto captain leads to a scoring opportunity on the other side.
Who had lots of space to and lots of time to work with before she's stripped of possession, but you see Pickett coming over, the way that the players collapsed on Abdu and pushed her wide, kept her away from that central channel and her ability to connect and link up with DiFilippo. So yes, you lost the ball, but I think the recovery and the way that AFC Toronto adapted was exactly what they needed to do.
Latifa Abdu can certainly unleash a shot. We've seen her score some screamers this season, both for the Montreal Roses, who she started the season with, and for the Vancouver Rise, who she joined in August.
Was unable to connect with Chang. They're looking longer for the feet, try to find Abdu, but Chang just getting in behind and floating between the lines, between the likes of Pickett and Small, unmarked. She does so well to drift into those areas, and usually whether it's the wide player in Okamoto or it's Holly Ward who's pulled wide herself, you're able to find Sam Chang in those pockets of space.
Nearly slipped through for Holly Ward. Ball played back dangerously to Sierra Cotillard, and an offside flag will negate that.
It must have been the previous phase of play, because of course there could not be offside from a ball played from Victoria Pickett back to Cotillard.
The ball outside on the right side for a throw-in.
You can see the Rise trying to trap AFC Toronto on the touch lines, trying to push them over there on those various triggers on their press, but they're not able to prevent Kaylee Hunter from finding that space between the lines herself as she's dropping off the front line to feet.
They're playing the advantage there. That would have been a foul on Kaylee Hunter on Quinn. Back up on their feet. Finds Abdu. Abdu's able to turn and yanked down by by Sarah Stratigakis, who will likely earn a yellow card here, and does, from Marie-Soleil Baudouin.
Pretty cynical foul, and will be a dangerous free kick for the Vancouver Rise. So trying to sandwich there in the coverage with Sarah Rollins, and both hands pretty obviously tugging Abdu back.
Yellow card issued in the 27th minute to AFC Toronto's number 16, Sarah Stratigakis.
And this is also a dangerous area for the Rise to equalize. Sarah Cotillard organizing her wall. Sam Chang and Jess DiFilippo, who scored from about 45 yards out in the run of play earlier this season. Chang, who had a brace against AFC Toronto this season. And DiFilippo running over Chang over top of the bar.
She scored from just inside that area this year, feels comfortable, confident from that type of distance. Just a little run over the ball to try to get the wall to bite and to jump, maybe move ever so slightly, but that was always sailing over the bar.
Quinn on the right side of the ball. Finds Peczerski. Peczerski running by Barnett, the cross in. Headed down by Regan. Spencer. Bounced off Barnett there, out for a goal kick.
Two sturdy physical players.
Talked to Coach Enya Heiner-Moller the other day about Jasmine Spencer. He said, is she built for the playoffs or what? And the coach said, absolutely. And she leans on some of those players. Jasmine Spencer with 12 years of experience in the NWSL. It's those experienced players that seem to get up for the playoffs.
And know how to manage their bodies and the rigors of the playoffs and the travel that is inherent when you play for a team on the West Coast. They're playing some of her best football right now, for sure, Jasmine Spencer is.
Lake looking forward. Pickett heads it down. Burns. Hunter lets it run over. Attacks Lake. Cuts it back. Hunter. Shot across goal. Just wide.
Kaylee Hunter giving Rebecca Lake fits right now. We don't see it, but before that, Lake is caught in no man's land. It doesn't go with Hunter. And then again, much as we saw Barnett turn Peczerski inside out on this left flank, you see Hunter do it there, and she had Okoronkwo. You had the later run by Stratigakis, but Kaylee Hunter, we know instinctively she's going forward. She was going for goal all day long.
Peczerski touch on that left foot and finds a break. Sam Chang. Lots of space. Holly Ward, you know she'll chase that down with that pace. Ward, 1v1. Turning Burns inside out. The ball cleared. And out for an AFC throw.
That is exactly where Sam Chang is going to hurt AFC Toronto. She finds a little bit of daylight, some green grass to run into. She drives into the space and releases Holly Ward forward. So after an uneven beginning from the Rise, where they were forced to defend, they were on their heels. They want to dominate through ball possession. So can they secure the ball? Can they have sustained possession in the attacking third? And you'll see some of these movement patterns emerge from the game.
Shields back to Spencer. Finds Peczerski looking for that curling left-footed ball. We've seen her score some nice goals this season. Spencer, the cross in, and Rollins gets it out for a corner kick.
Be a little bit of miscommunication there as that ball is swung in. Spencer overlapping, Peczerski sends it in, and then you had two defenders in Rollins and Cathro at that near post. And I think Cotillard could have called them off and simply come for it, but instead they're looking at a corner kick here and having to defend it.
Just over 30 minutes gone in this opening half, the inaugural Northern Super League final. Quinn on the ball. Drives to the 12-yard spot. And AFC Toronto out with it. Small pushes it forward for Okoronkwo. Vancouver backpedaling here. Pachurski chasing it down. Okoronkwo curling the ball in and stopped by McCaslin.
AFC Toronto, those transitional moments, they can hurt the Vancouver Rise, but perhaps not the best decision by Esther Okoronkwo. We know that's her favorite left foot.
And nearly a miscue in the back there by AFC Toronto. Rollins and Pickett confused there. Abdu nearly got a break.
Vancouver's way in finding that equalizer is capitalizing on some of that miscommunication in AFC Toronto's backline. Just seizing on one of those moments of indecision.
Watching the NSL final brought to you by Toyota. It is the AFC Toronto ahead 1-0 over Vancouver. But this Rise team, resilient as we've been saying. Drawing a foul here. Both players down on the turf, Quinn and Okoronkwo.
It's Quinn that draws the foul, but Okoronkwo looks the worst of the two out of this coming together, as they're both slow to get up and to react. You're seeing a gap now in between the team parts of AFC Toronto, between the a flat mid-3 and their back line. Vancouver looking to exploit it. Quinn driving into that space. Okoronkwo actually touching ball, but coming through on Quinn on the follow-through. And incredulous by Pickett and Regan talking to the referee about the fact that Okoronkwo won the ball. But you're also responsible for your body and controlling it. You can't just simply go through the player as you could do in my era. As long as you as the player making the ball sign, I got the ball. It's not enough. You have to be in control of your body after you come into contact with the ball.
Just listening in there on Anya Heiner-Moller. We did see the Vancouver Rise, after Kaylee Hunter scored the goal, come together at their half, circle up and say, hey, you know what, it's an early goal, it's all right, we got this. They've equated themselves, they've kind of held off the storm since that moment in time.
And they've been in that position. I mean, Kate McKenna mentioned in the semifinal they were down twice to the Ottawa Rapid before Holly Ward found the equalizer on aggregate and then behind on pens. And so that mentality is kind of knitted into it's built into the team at this point. Quinn looking a little bit worse for wear there, struggling a wee bit.
Quinn up on their feet. And we'll see what kind of condition they're in if they're able to continue. Toronto native Quinn, 106 caps for country, 2 Olympic medals, couple World Cups, and in some discomfort here in front of friends and family. And if you're Vancouver, you want to see Quinn stay in this match. It's not looking so hot right now, Amy.
No, it's not. Quinn is integral to the way that the Vancouver Rise want to play. See Quinn drop into that back line sometimes, critical in the way that they build, but then also the long diagonals, the switches of play, the way they drive forward, interchanging with Sam Chang, creating that little bit of instability that AFC Toronto have to defend. That would be a huge loss if Quinn is unable to continue.
The rain is pouring down at BMO Field in Toronto, just as the star player for the Vancouver Rise, Quinn, walking to the tunnel. So we'll find out who steps in Quinn's place, but that is a huge loss for the Vancouver Rise. Spencer. Okoronkwo no worse for wear. Bowls over Peczerski. And it'll be Nikki Stanton coming into the match for Quinn. So Quinn unavailable, going down to the tunnel after a collision with Esther Okoronkwo moments ago. So Nikki Stanton, another experienced midfielder, coming into the match. Okay. So we heard the whistle there blow, and I heard the thunder. So if you heard that at home, that means we're going to have a break. So there is lightning in the area here in Toronto at BMO Field. So the teams will be going into the tunnel. The fans have been asked to go into the concourse level.
For your safety, please proceed to the concourse under the stands. BMO Field staff will be happy
So
to
postpone
assist.
for the
Thank you
moment this
for your
match.
cooperation.
At this stage, 38-minute 1-0 AFC Toronto against the Vancouver Rise. So the teams will reset, and this is going to be a minimum of 30 minutes delay. Obviously, we want the weather to clear in the area, but the players needing to warm up and be ready to come back out on the pitch. So stay with us. It's interesting. It wouldn't be the inaugural NSL final if we didn't have a little bit of intrigue, right?
I know, women's soccer, we're used to being up against this type of stuff, right? We waited a long time for this league. A weather delay isn't going to put anybody off, but I think these are two teams that are well equipped to deal with this type of curveball, that they're going to go back, they're going to refocus, they're going to reset. AFC Toronto that just recently dealt with that in the semifinal, and I think the Vancouver Rise, who's kicked off this year dealing with the occasion, the momentous occasion that was the inaugural match. They're well set up to cope with this.
Let's look back at the goal that got us here so far, at least, and it was Kaylee Hunter, the 17-year-old, breaking through, and really, if we had to pick somebody to score a goal in this match, it was probably going to be her.
And she's released there. We don't see the great bit of play to weaponize that space that she moves into. And I think Matheson makes a bit of a hash of this. She's a great shot stopper, but that was not one of her better moments. But the audaciousness, the aggressive nature of Kaylee Hunter, and just instinctively playing progressively, going forward. She's a constant menace for AFC Toronto and opens up the scoring there after a flurry of chances created by AFC Toronto.
So again, if you're just joining us, we're in a weather delay, thunder, lightning in the area at BMO Field in Toronto, the Northern Super League final, the inaugural Northern Super League final. Bit of a curveball, as my colleague Amy Walsh has said, but we'll have more soccer ahead here. You're watching the Northern Super League. Welcome inside a rain-soaked BMO Field in Toronto. We've had thunder and lightning in the area, so we're currently in a minimum of 30-minute delay, a weather delay, because of safety, player safety. Obviously, the players need to warm up as well. So the fans have been asked to go to the concourse. The players are already in the dressing rooms. And this is in accordance of Canada soccer policy in terms of weather delay. And Amy, have you ever gone through a similar situation where you've had to kind of regroup and come back out again?
Absolutely. I just, first of all, want to give a hat tip to the DJ here playing Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Very, very apropos. Yes, during the 2008 Olympics in Beijing, there was torrential rain. The pitch was unplayable for a while. I think there was also lightning, maybe some hail, and we were delayed for a couple of hours. Then another time in a tournament with the national team in Australia, we were well on our way to beating China in normal time for the first time ever in the program's history. You remember the juggernaut that China was back in the late 90s? Remember they went to the World Cup final in 99, lost to the USA on the famous PKs. So they were huge back then, and that was in 2000, and the lights went out. So it was a delay and in a cramped locker room, not at a great professional stadium. So there was trying to be creative, stay engaged, stay warm, keep it light, keep it lively, but still say, like kind of connected to your teammates and what the task at hand was. And then not to get cold and make yourself injury prone. And we came back out, they scored an early equalizer, but we ended up beating them in PKs. So it's good, a good story, a good ending, but today there will only be a fairy tale ending for one of these teams, but they're in complete control about how they manage this time right now.
I like what you said, though, about that, you know, if there's two teams that are prepared for this moment and a weather delay. By the way, I'm getting word right now that the game will resume at the earliest 3:23 Eastern, 12:23 Pacific time. So 3:23 Eastern, 12:23 Pacific time. That's for player warm-up. So we'll have that for you, of course. We're not going anywhere, right?
We'll have commentary on player warm-up.
But I like what you said about both of these teams being up for the occasion, because Vancouver, of course, the inaugural game of the season way back in April against the Calgary Wild at BC Place, April 16th, a 1-0 win. Quinn with the penalty kick. A real great moment where they were on center stage. They had the resilience in the playoffs, of course, beating the Ottawa Rapid in penalty kicks. And then AFC Toronto, they've been at BMO Field a couple times. They have not won here yet.
That's right.
In fact,
they had different kit tonight, though. Maybe to change their luck.
Maybe they changed in kit. They are wearing their white and baby blues tonight. And in fact, they hadn't scored a goal. So
Correct.
Kaylee Hunter breaking that streak, and whether they can break the streak of winning at BMO Field, we will see about that as well. But yes, we look on here. We're in a delayed moment in time between these two teams. The 6th meeting of the season. It's been even between these two teams, hasn't it?
It has been. We talked about that in the panel in the pregame, where it's very much been a stalemate. And the outlier was the 7-0 drubbing that AFC Toronto handed the Rise, and they were left reeling. And they've had an already inconsistent season, but that sent them sliding down a slippery slope where it took them a long time to regain their form, and then they went on a scintillating 8-game unbeaten run. So they've had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and AFC Toronto have been the antithesis of that, where their slogan is "run it our way." Well, they've run the freaking table, right? Like, they've been dominant all year long, and they've embraced the pressure that they've been under as the perennial favorites, as Supporter Shield winners, coming in here almost with theirs to lose, and Vancouver are going to do their utmost to try to disrupt that.
Well, history is here. It's the inaugural Northern Super League final. We're in a weather delay right now at BMO Field in Toronto with thunder and lightning in the area. We will resume a little bit later, but after the break, we'll go down to Andy and the panel. Welcome back inside BMO Field in Toronto. We're in a weather delay. The inaugural Northern Super League final. It's AFC Toronto leading the Vancouver Rise 1-0 after a goal from Kaylee Hunter. Right now, let's go down to Andy and Claire and Aaron.
All right, well, thank you so much, Signa. And let it be a lesson to anyone who wants to get into broadcasting. Normally, when you are on location, it is always good to wear sensible shoes because you never know when you have to sprint from one end of the field to another location here because we cannot be in the tent. It is good to know that they care about the media as well. They do not want us to get struck by lightning. So we are here in the tunnel. I am the only one that's hooked up. I feel like I have complete control over this hit right now. The two of you are not.
Change that, don't worry.
Well, see, now I have to hand you the microphone as well, or we can't hear them. But here's the thing. We do have this rain delay. It doesn't matter. We have a lot to talk about already that happened in that first half. And this was a game so far that was pretty much being dominated by AFC Toronto.
Yeah, AFC Toronto came out flying offensively. It was really fun to watch, actually. The great part about the way that they attack is the timing of their runs. The timing of their runs was really what was on in this first half, or certainly in the first 15 minutes of this half. Were the passes perfect? Were the touches perfect? No, not necessarily, but just watch how they use space. Okoronkwo pulls out wide here. Kaylee Hunter's already trailing. Now, she actually takes her foot off the gas because I think she's the best option here, but you know what? I don't mind Okoronkwo going for a goal there. I just love the timing of these runs. I can't get over it. And I love the creativity on the court.
Yeah, I think actually the way that they all work in unison, especially the blindside runs, I think Vancouver has to do a better job of checking their shoulders. The other big criticism I have for Vancouver right now is just the discipline of their line. They knew going into this game that one thing that AFC Toronto does really well, of course, is those partnerships, right? One's coming off the front, one's going in behind. So they constantly have to be checking their shoulders. Luckily for their team, as we spoke about beforehand, Matheson has come up with some huge saves already. We talked about the footwork, pretty to watch. She's getting that little shuffle step, but I think Vancouver, oftentimes they are the reason why they're giving away these goal chances. Now here's a perfect example. Nikki Small coming basically on a breakaway because they've given the ball away. Matheson comes up big, which is fantastic. We talked about those 1v1 scenarios she's going to encounter. And here, another clearance doesn't go far enough away from Court, and a fantastic, look at that little shimmy step, okay, from Regan outside of the box. So Matheson has done, I think, everything that she needs to do, and then, of course, ultimately, at some point, they were going to end up scoring.
It's a good thing I do reverse flies here, just holding the microphone, and my shoulders are killing me. That's it. You're going to hold your own microphone now. I know. I am in your space. But so that's pretty much how that flow went. You had Toronto on the attack. To your point, Matheson coming up with some big saves there. But at some point, if you keep knocking on the door, you're going to knock it down. And the player that you highlighted is, I'm going to hand the microphone over to you right now, Kaylee Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really surprised. I think I'm going to hold it. Okay. I think what's great here is it highlights the timing of runs again. Toronto really plays as an offensive unit. It's not just one individual going after a back line. They really play as a unit and they make space for each other. This ball actually starts all the way on Toronto's, almost at the top of the penalty area for them. Just really great, decisive, penetrating passes and another very well-timed run. Unfortunately there for Spencer. Spencer keeps her onside, and as the far side fullback, you can't do that. You cannot be the person to set the line because nobody else can see you. You have to go with whatever else your central defenders or that left fullback are doing. Kaylee Hunter takes advantage of it and is able to get in behind.
And of course, it is a little bit heartbreaking that this one goes right in between Matheson's legs. But I think the reason for it is you can see Hunter's just driving at the goal, and Okoronkwo's making this fantastic run in the back post. So she's a little bit indecisive, and I think as a result, she's unbalanced, and that goes in between her legs. Again, speaking to the partnerships and how important that's been for AFC, she's going to have to sharpen it up. And of course, also highlighting that Pickett starts that play. She's been fantastic for them the last few games. And again, in possession, her driving from the back line has just given them another element.
All right, well, and I was going to ask you that when it came to Matheson and her positioning, because normally a goalkeeper, you go down and then you just want that to come right into your hands, and it just felt like her hands were a little bit in no man's land. Do you think that's because she was anticipating the pass?
Yeah, if you watch the clip back, Hunter's deceiving eyes, she's looking up, right? And she has options running into the box. And I think that's why they've been so effective, because it's very rare that Toronto only has one person that's a threat. They have multiple.
Well, and I was going to say that Kaylee Hunter's first touch, I thought it did her. I thought it actually slowed her. I thought it slowed her down too much. But what it did is it actually cut her across the box slightly, and I think that draws McCaslin's attention across to Okoronkwo. So instead of actually slowing her down, it made it a much more dangerous play because it forced Kaylee Hunter to look up. McCaslin just turns slightly, and unfortunately it's through her legs.
Let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, and so you can see here, watch, this touch right here. Initially when she did it, I said, oh, she's done it. She's slowed herself down too much. The defenders are going to be able to catch up. You can see how quickly that fullback's recovering. And she draws her eyes just across slightly to Okoronkwo, and unfortunately that just forces McCaslin to open up just enough.
You look like you're in absolute pain watching that. Okay, so how about we just take a little bit about actually we did see a collision there between Okoronkwo and Quinn. So Quinn ended up getting subbed out there. Let's talk a little bit about losing that type of player in this kind of game.
Did a substitution actually occur? Did we confirm that a substitution?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. Just making sure.
Because
it happened right at the time of the delay. All right, good. It happened right at the time of the delay. Yeah, I mean, losing someone as prolific as Quinn in that midfield is really, really heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for the game because you want to be able to see best on best here. Not that Stanton's a downgrade in any way, but I think Quinn just, their presence in the midfield, their ability to spray the ball diagonally and really hit those runners accurately is so important for this Vancouver team. Their midfield hasn't seen a lot of the ball so far, and you need a player like Quinn to be that touchstone in the second half to allow them to refocus. They're the one that they need, that this team needs to look to for that leadership in the midfield.
I agree, but I think luckily, like Stanton is a solid player that's come in. She's a leader. She's fantastic on set pieces. So it will be interesting to see how Vancouver adapts. In my opinion, they should use this rain delay to come together and talk about points that they're going to have to bring forward moving back into the game. I think they have to be a little bit more disciplined on defense, checking shoulders more often, as we talked about, be aware of that opposite movement. But I think just all over the park, even starting with Abdu, I think she was fantastic in the first two games, really initiating that press. She didn't normally win the ball, but she helped all the players behind her. I want to see a little bit more of that. And then they have to get their lineup. They have to be quicker to get more compact because obviously Toronto will be able to pull them apart.
All right, rain delays. Let's have fun with this one. Anytime there is a weather delay, how should the players be using this time right now, other than maybe changing some socks? Like, how else do you use this time to prepare and come out, finish off the first half?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I thought of was being a cold person is changing socks and changing my clothes. That was the first thing we did. We had a big rain delay in the 2008 Olympics in the quarterfinals. The first thing we all did was change into dry clothes. It just allows you to reset and refocus. We came out and scored after that, right? So these types of delays can actually be momentum makers or breakers, right? Mm-hmm. So either this cuts Toronto's momentum and doesn't allow them to continue with that offensive role that they were on, or this is a moment for Vancouver to refocus, come out with a renewed sense of urgency, and play like they feel that this game is urgent at this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, speaking to the point about Quinn, they're a leader, right? And so it's also an opportunity to play for the people that you care about. And Vancouver's done a really good job of being resilient this season. And this is another opportunity for them to come together for a common cause. And I think Quinn could really help them in that.
All right, hearing word now that they're going to come out to warm up at 3:23 so they can finish off the first half here, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, second half will resume without any hiccups, as yes, we are in a rain delay. There was thunder, there was lightning here for the inaugural NSL Championship game. It wouldn't be a Canadian final without Mother Nature also inserting herself into the party. So far, it's AFC Toronto leading Vancouver Rise 1-0 on a goal by Kaylee Hunter.
Welcome inside BMO Field in Toronto. AFC Toronto leading Vancouver Rise FC. It is a weather delay, 1-0 right now, and right now our Rob Pizzo is standing by with Jose Maria Costa.
Well, thank you very much, Signa. Jose, it seems as though the weather's thrown everything at us over the last week. We had cold, we had snow, and now we have rain, thunder, and lightning. We're in this delay. Maybe bring us up to date on what the league's thinking and what's the next few steps going forward.
Naturally. It's been a heck of a week, for sure. So right now we're following our protocols for weather crisis, and we have a 30-minute delay that will end at 3:23. Then we'll let players out for warm-ups for 5 minutes, and we're aiming to kick off at 3:28. Naturally, our protocol protects players first and also our fans who are in the stands, so we'll need to keep player safety at first, and then we think about the event itself. So for now, that's the plan.
With so little time remaining in the first half, it seems funny that they have to go out, warm up, play a couple of minutes, come back in. Is there any thought to maybe tacking that onto the second half and having them just come out once?
We thought about that. It was discussed with the referee crew, but the rules are clear, and by FIFA and IFAB, we cannot change. Here we go. Probably there's an update coming, but we cannot change the rules.
We are getting an update here. The field is reopening, so as of right now, what you just said is about to happen. So thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. Signa?
Thanks so much, Rob. Well, that is good news. So a 5-minute warm-up once these teams are able to come back on the pitch. The fans have been welcomed back out on the concourse, which is lovely as well. And guess what? We just picked up another member of our team, Kate McKenna, who was out there, our hype woman today. Getting things going with the crowd at the beginning of the ceremony. Our host from TSN, of course, for the season. Yeah, what are your perceptions here of this weather delay?
Well, listen, I was doing some cardio to get up here. I got my workout in today. I was bodying fans to make my way up here. I said, I gotta
shoulder to shoulder challenges.
That's right.
That's right.
But like, listen, you know, the fans are still, the energy in the concourse is still really good, and you do think about that, right? Because are you fixing my mic? Signa Butler, the broadcast pro. Can you hear me now? Hopefully it's better. But you think about that, right? You could hear as the waves of play and waves of action happen, you could hear the waves of emotion from this crowd. But the crowd down there, they're chanting, they're having fun, they're ready to go. And to see this crowd too is to see, you know, what this league wanted in the first place. A diverse mix of fans, old, young, of all kinds, and they're having a time out there.
It's been great, but this, I mean, going off of Pizzo's conversation with Jose, the VP of Sporting, it's going to be a reset button for the two competing teams, but also for the fans.
Yes.
So, like, the energy, the vibes, the buzz is going to have to be manufactured again. And it's not going to be what it was in, like, the 10th or 15th minute when it was wave after wave of attack from AFC Toronto. I think this pause, this little break, might benefit Vancouver Rise. It gives them a chance to regroup, tactical tweaks. Aaron was talking about how loose that back line was. Clean that up a little bit and come out and pretend that it's 0-0 and just go after this game.
But if there's any team that can do it, it's the Rise, right? And Enya Hunter-Miller talked about how she recruited players who are courageous. That's what she was looking for in the preseason. And they've shown resilience all season long. You know, at one point in the season, they were in 5th place. Clawed their way back into the top 4 to make playoffs, even in leg 2 of that semifinal. Holly Ward scoring in the 84th minute to tie it up. It sort of feels like they're built for this.
Yeah, and we talked about the beginning of the season, you know, that game on April 16th at BC Place, you know, being in the center of attention and not necessarily knowing what any of these teams were about. These teams were built from scratch in this inaugural season of the NSL. So, you know, they've played some big games. They've also played some big games at BMO Field, too. If we recall the last time they met at BMO, it was Vancouver Rise down to 10 players with a 1-0 victory over AFC Toronto. So, I think there's lots to be decided here.
Can I tell you one player who's impressed me in that first half? I'm hardly the analyst, but it's Nikki Small. And when I sat down with Nikki Small this week at Media Day, I said, you know, what will you take away from this season, regardless of whether you hoist the trophy or not? And she goes, I really like scoring goals. She said, I didn't score many goals coming into this league, but it's a lot of fun.
She's used to playing provider, and she's done that this year, but she's also contributed in the way of goals, which is, I think AFC Toronto, you have those big two. Like, you have Okoronkwo, you have Hunter, you have others who are supporting. Vancouver Rise is very much scoring by committee, but the chance creation, the buzzing around, the finding that attacking pocket, the supporting runs, just being dangerous. Like, slicing and dicing and going forward, carving teams open. Nikki Small has done that all year long and maybe has a bone to pick because she did not make Team of the Year, but performed extraordinarily well.
And that'll fuel you. That'll fuel you, right?
Well, it might also fuel the Rise. They didn't have a single player on the
That's
best 11 this year. Anyway, lots of storylines still to come. Happy to report that we will be getting underway shortly. The inaugural NSL Final from BMO Field in Toronto. The rain has gone away. Fans are going back in the stands, and soon the teams will come out for a warm-up. Stay with us. Welcome back. History is still being made here. It's the inaugural Northern Super League final, and now the players are coming back onto the pitch for a 5-minute warm-up after a weather delay due to thunder and lightning in the Toronto area. We're at BMO Field. Signa Butler alongside former Canadian international Amy Walsh. Samantha Chang and her team, the captain of the Vancouver Rise, trailing AFC Toronto 1-0 after a goal from Kaylee Hunter. So Amy, bit of a restart, right? I mean, it's 1-0 right now, but it's almost 0-0 when you look at the scoreboard. But first, let's take a look at the stats from where we are so far in this opening half. Really, you know, even in terms of possession, but the shots firmly in AFC Toronto's favor.
That's where you see the dominance. It's been a commanding performance so far. I mean, we still have the waning moments of that first half to play, but it is a first half that has been won unequivocally by AFC Toronto. So that's why I think this restart, this reset, has to benefit the Rise. It has to give them an edge, or at least a way back into this game. You saw them start to connect a little bit better on the ball, start to dominate the tempo that way, but so far they've been chasing shadows.
There is AFC Toronto warming up. The goal from Kaylee Hunter, number 11 there. It happened in the 20th minute after a flurry of chances from AFC Toronto, but it was eventually the 17-year-old from Calgary converting this goal. Let's take another look.
You've been seeing the intelligent movement, the persistent runs in behind, but also just the way that they're combining. That Stratigakis coming back, finding that space in between the lines, connecting with Hunter, who takes that touch inside. And Erin alluded to the fact, so just quick inside and then back out of her feet for Stratigakis. That critical first touch by Hunter to decrease her angle to get more central. And she's able to hit it with both feet. And Erin McLeod, our resident goalkeeper legend and expert, talked about like just getting the run on the back post by Okoronkwo, maybe like bringing a little bit of instability to McCaslin, a little bit of indecision, trying to protect that near post, but also thinking about covering the back post and maybe that pass in behind. But all credit to Kaylee Hunter, who had one goal in mind, and that was to get that ball in the back of the net.
Still plenty to be decided in terms of winning the Diana B. Matheson Cup. But first, let's go down to reset with Andy, Claire, and Aaron.
Signa, it feels good to be back in our spot as well. We begged, we pleaded, and we also had to pay some people off. But we are right here at the corner watching this warm up, about 3.5 minutes left to go. And Amy brought up something kind of interesting there, Aaron, where Vancouver most definitely was on the back foot so far in that first half. Does this break maybe favor them?
Oh, absolutely. I think now they have a second to kind of, as Claire said before at halftime, or sorry, during the break, is they get a chance to kind of reset. They've already recognized that AFC, that opposite movement, Kaylee Hunter already on the blind side, Emma Regan coming from deep in the midfield. They have to have their head on a swivel, and they have to make sure that they keep discipline in their back line. One time it's Court, another time it's Spencer, keeping them on side. So they have to be really intelligent. Again, I think it's going to be their defensive work that's going to be smart, and the way that they build out of the back. For me right now, there's too much risk, and they're giving the ball over too easily to Toronto.
Yeah, it's really difficult to attack effectively without a strong back line. Your attack essentially starts there. And you can see that Vancouver hasn't had a shot on goal. I don't want to state the bleeding obvious here, but you can't score unless you have a shot on goal. And that starts from the back line. Toronto's goal comes off of a ball that comes from the top of their own penalty area, cuts right through the middle of the park. Every line on their team is utilized. Yep. That's what Vancouver needs to look to. And if you have to play a little bit more direct in order to do that, in order to settle yourself into some kind of offensive momentum, then go for it. Just do that under control and do that with some kind of conviction.
We were all watching the weather this morning. We knew this was coming. I'm wondering again, I know you've shared already situations you've been in where you've had a weather delay, but have you also been in a situation where the coach has said, all right, we're going to kick off at this time, and guess what? That's exactly when the rain's going to start, possibility of a delay. So what are maybe some of the things you're already prepping yourself for? So you already know this delay is happening on a day already, Aaron, where, by the way, this isn't a regular season game, this is a championship game. But how are you already coping with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think knowing that going into the game that this is a possibility is important. Right? I've been in a lot of games where you know there could be a potential lightning delay, and you do prepare different. You pack a few extra snacks.
Yes.
You make sure that you have dry clothes, right? But you also, like we talked about, have that reset. You have those moments you prepare that there's going to be a little bit of downtime, and then you're going to have to warm up again. For some of us who may be a little bit older, it's just about staying warm, right? So it's understanding your own body. It is, and making sure that you have the tools that are going to keep you sharp so that you can go back and perform just the same, if not better, going back in.
Another part about this league, having a professional environment in Canada, is that you can do that here at your club in a professional environment. The first time you hit a delay like this isn't at the international level at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Right? So you get used to it. You get used to what you do when you need to hurry up and wait, because that happens a lot. So you have your own preparation. That's part of being a professional, right? You have your preparation phase that you do, and you can condense that or expand that as you need to. But learning how to do that now at this stage is really important, and practicing that. All of these little intricacies, it's not just the on-field, it's not just how you play on the field, it's not just your technique and your tactics, it's also all of this other stuff that surrounds it, how you prepare yourself, how you prepare your teammates, how you support your teammates in this kind of context.
That is a really valid point, because it's not just about playing, it's all the other things that can happen in the game, which, you know, we've clearly experienced on different levels. You've experienced them as players, me as a broadcaster, and now you guys as broadcasters too. So here we go. They still have a first half to finish. It's not like that was actually halftime, Aaron. So again, is it a bit of a different approach knowing you still have about 10 minutes to go?
I think for Toronto, it's let's keep doing the same thing. I think for Vancouver, it's sharpening up the defense, being more compact and more disciplined.
Yeah, I think Toronto just has to keep Vancouver under as much pressure as possible. Do not allow their back line to settle, because I think when Vancouver's able to settle in their back line, they will be more productive offensively.
All right, so we're getting set to finish off the first half here after a lightning delay inside BMO Field. Toronto with that 1-0 lead. Let's get back to Signa Butler. Amy Walsh, you have your call.
Thanks so much, Andy. Yes, we're at the 38-minute mark where we resume play with AFC Toronto leading 1-0 over the Vancouver Rise. The Supporters Shield winners, AFC Toronto, against the Rise, who finished third in the regular season, knocked off the number 2 seed, Ottawa Rapid, in penalty kicks. And of course, Marie-Soleil Baudouin, the referee, has to remember, where were we exactly?
That's right.
Somebody take a picture.
She's noted it, she's jotted it down, but the players might not remember. Probably think it's a usual restart. Looks like it'll be a drop ball of some sort.
Well, a FIFA referee since 2014, Marie-Soleil Baudouin, and her crew of Stephanie Fortin, Camille Raymond, Carly Shaw McLaren, the fourth official today. So they also had to get warmed up here. A 5-minute warm-up has gone and done, and now we're underway. And immediately Vancouver with the pressure on AFC Toronto.
And that's not the first time we've tried to see, or Okamoto rather, has tried to connect from that left touch line to the feet of Latifa Abdou, just checking off AFC Toronto's back line, and it hasn't connected, but that's a pattern to look out for if you're AFC Toronto. You see how flat that midfield is, with Small tucking in alongside Regan and then Stratigakis on the left.
Burns nearly picked off. Bronco. Pass forward, read by Coward. Coward really key on reading those plays at the center back position.
Great step by Coward, for sure. That's something that they have to do better. Obviously, defensively, Aaron and Claire were talking about being more disciplined in that back line, making sure you're staying on that line, whether you're the fullback or you're that one of those center back pairs. But something that the front runners can do better is pressure the ball and avoid that long service. Stop it from happening.
Abdou with a bit of a heavy touch, and a hard tackle on Regan was not called. Jess DiFilippo trying to win the ball back, and cleared by Barnett. Over the head of DiFilippo. An errant clearance by Barnett, but Small corrals it. Bit of table tennis going on right now, just to gain control of possession. Top, looking for Peczerski, goes off of Barnett. Some of the fans are warming up with drumming. They're cold too.
Could use some percussive instruments up here in the booth.
Yeah, it is a little chilly.
Not gonna lie.
It's about 3 degrees in Toronto. Of course, the rain making it a little chillier by the lake in Ontario. Latifa Abdou. And tackled by Sarah Rollins.
On that flick, well read by Abdou, and she was able to get advantageous position on Rollins, but Rollins did well to stay with her and prevent that turn, and then block it and prevent from conceding a corner.
If you're just joining us, it is a 1-0 lead for AFC Toronto. Kaylee Hunter with the goal. For Vancouver, Quinn, unfortunately out of the game due to an injury just before stoppage time because of that weather delay. Nikki Stanton taking their place in the lineup. We'll see if we can find out how Quinn is doing. But right now, unavailable, went to the tunnel after their injury with a collision with Esther Okoronkwo.
I think with the insertion of Nikki Stanton, I think Claire said it perfectly. It's absolutely not a downgrade, but it's a different type of player. And a great ball played by her into space.
Stanton to Peczerski. And Cotillard off her line just in time. Peczerski took a hard hit there as Cotillard came out. Cotillard gathering herself, but Peczerski down behind the goal. It's a hard surface back there.
Slow to get to her feet, but she is up and ready to go, which would be good. Gets the inside position. Barnett comes back, but Cotillard bravely comes out, gathers that ball up, doesn't corral it entirely, and I think she catches a cleat of Peczerski in the side.
Peczerski won it right back. Stratigakis taken down by Stanton.
And then further to your point about losing Quinn, We mentioned how integral they are to the way and the philosophy, the identity of the Rise. Via Quinn as that deeper line playmaker. You do lose with the insertion of Stanton some of that long range passing, some of that synchronicity, the interchanging with Chang, but with Stanton you get a gritty defensive player who is smart and simple on the ball.
Okoronkwo keeping the ball in play, going one-on-one against Cowart, dancing just under the foot of Stratigakis, and now Vancouver pushing forward. A timely header by Cathro because Abdu was on a break. Barnett, the cross across goal. It hit the head of Hunter, but will go out of bounds.
And caught a slight touch as that came across. I'm not sure by which Vancouver Rise player, but it was an important touch because it prevented Kaylee Hunter from getting on the end of that. But prior to that, Esther Okoronkwo were used and were kind of spoiled by her quality on the ball, but that was a casual and careless ball that she played to Stratigakis and lost possession.
Regan, Small, Hunter, the cross in, almost hit the post. Okoronkwo cleared off the line by Jasmine Spencer. Nervy moments for Vancouver. And Jasmine Spencer saves the day.
You said that she was built for the playoffs, Signa. Absolutely. Game-saving moment there, perhaps. And then that cross there catches a deflection, surprises McCaslin, and then it's Spencer to the rescue, just to McCaslin's right, who clears it just about a yard off the line.
Corner kick for AFC Toronto. The in-swinging kick from Colby Barnett. Barnett driving far post, way far, and will curl around out for a goal kick.
AFC Toronto, despite their struggles on set pieces this year, have looked very dangerous early on in this game. Well, not so early on anymore, but in this first half, particularly from the corner kicks, no matter what side and who's on service, whether it's Barnett or Regan, but that one, it had the right whip on it, the right amount of pace, but just too lofted and too long.
Well done by Barnett. And picked off by Lake. Pickett, fancy footwork. Victoria Pickett, the makeshift defender today.
Marko Milanovic mentioned as his attacking midfielder deployed as a right back, giving him heart palpitations sometimes, but that's the type of play that you get, the composure, the calmness, and obviously sometimes doing it in moments where he would like her to be a little bit more simple, take less risk, but it pays off there for Pickett.
As indicated, there will be a minimum of 4 minutes of time added to the first half.
4 minutes of added time to this opening half of the Northern Super League final. Still very much anyone's match.
And the 4 minutes is excluding how long it took the panel to get from the tunnel back to the back to the panel.
Should mention great crowd on hand at BMO Field despite these challenging weather conditions. Supporters groups from across the country. Ball nearly played through by Nikki Stanton. A diagonal run. Kaylee Hunter going one-on-one. Tried the cross in, deflects off Cowart and into the arms of McCaslin.
And again, Nikki Small is the architect of that attack. It takes the timing and the runs by Hunter.
Okoronkwo picks off the pass from Jasmine Spencer. Stratigakis trying to pick her spot. Kaylee Hunter pops it up. Stratigakis goes airtime, and that'll draw a foul.
Had come from an offside position as well, which is, I think, what is called on the pitch. But you see for the Vancouver Rise, Nikki Stanton intercept a pass, can't quite connect to Spring Holly Ward, but going the other way, Nikki Small's able to find Kaylee Hunter, and then Stratigakis, with the ball recycled, keeps this going. She's actually out of bounds there, so shouldn't have necessarily been called offside, but I think nevertheless had fouled the defender.
DiFilippo turning backwards, gives the ball up. Okoronkwo. And no call at the top of the box. Okoronkwo down on the turf.
That was a poor ball by DiFilippo to put her back line under duress. And then they're forced into what looked like a foul to me on Okoronkwo, but a referee allows play to continue.
Ball played over top. Kaylee Hunter's got a break. Tried to go near post and just misses.
And that was a poor decision. That could have been 2-0 for AFC Toronto if Kaylee Hunter with her left foot had elected to square that ball across to Esther Okoronkwo. So you see the patience there, getting that ball beautifully played in behind, and then goes with her right foot to try to beat McCaslin to her right, when she could have just slid it over to Okoronkwo for the tap-in, much the way we saw them score the other day versus Montreal Roses in the second leg of that semifinal.
Okoronkwo, lots of space here, goes one-on-one. Lake got a touch on that just in the nick of time, out for a corner kick. So in added time here, AFC Toronto with a few chances
that have gone wasted, and that was a chance to kill the game. It's still only 2-0, and we know how dangerous that scoreline can be, but you're up by 2 goals heading into the locker room for halftime versus only leading by 1 when you've thoroughly dominated.
Certainly will want a few of those opportunities back. Colby Barnett on the ball. McCaslin calls for it, the punch over top, and it'll be another corner kick, still within added time here. Emma Regan will step up to the ball. Small's over there as well. We'll have to watch out if there's a short corner.
And Barnett, even though she missed on a previous occasion, they're testing McCaslin deliberately right in that 6.
Short corner, Regan going one-on-one. Spencer.
Another opportunity.
Goes out of bounds. This could be the last opportunity of this opening half.
Emma Regan going 1v1 versus Jasmine Spencer, who does well. Doesn't let her go by or get to that byline, but concedes another corner.
Likely our last play of this opening half. Emma Regan at the corner flag, knocking that ball near post, looking for a flick on, and they didn't get it. And that will indeed be the opening 45 minutes. Just a quick thought on that opening half. Obviously the weather disruption as well.
We thought it would benefit the Rise that they'd come up for this contest looking to find the equalizer, but it was again AFC Toronto, a front-footed AFC Toronto, that dominated the remainder of this first half.
Well, it's Kaylee Hunter with the goal that gives AFC Toronto a 1-0 lead over the Vancouver Rise. 45 minutes left to play at BMO Field in Toronto. Weather delay, no problem. These players are up to the task. It's the inaugural NSL final. Stay with us. We've got the panel coming up.
Welcome to the NFL Halftime Show presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. And after an extended first half, which included a 30-minute rain delay, a 1-0 lead for AFC Toronto in a match that has been played at breakneck speed. Kaylee Hunter, the goal scorer in this one. For more on the first 45, let's head now to Andy Petrillo and the panel.
Claire Russett, Aaron McLeod with me. Yes, let's take a look at how lopsided this game has been in that interrupted first half. We'll get into how things looked when they came back on the pitch, but this has been all AFC Toronto. Claire, to steal your line, you're not going to score any goals if you don't get a shot on net. But when you look at the stats here, when it comes to shots, AFC Toronto, 14-4 total, 8-0 on target, capitalizing once, 20th minute. Kaylee Hunter. And Kaylee Hunter, by the way, is our move of the half. Intact Insurance move of the half. We broke this down before, but it is so good we can take a look at it again because she was all over this game to start. Did look like she was a little excited and then tempered the emotions a bit.
Yeah, no, I love how this goal starts right at the top of the AFC Toronto penalty area. 3 passes, and this team is just sliced apart. Kaylee Hunter's able to get in behind. This first touch slows her down a little bit, but does a good job of setting herself up across the goal, just enough to attract Morgan McCaslin's attention across to Okoronkwo. She's able to put it through her legs. I mean, at times it felt like talking about direct soccer in this country was blasphemy, but this is direct soccer at its best, right? This is it. You have to be able to use that tool when it's available. You have to be able to recognize when playing those penetrating balls as quickly as possible and covering as much space as possible when that's the right moment to do it, and that was the right moment.
All right, when it comes to Vancouver, you have to give AFC Toronto credit. No doubt about that. They have just been playing some suffocating soccer here right now, and that's why they have most of the possession and most of the shots. But, Aaron, when you look at Vancouver, I mean, are they kind of hurting themselves? Are they digging that hole for themselves right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Anya Hanamolo, she talked about wanting to be a brave team and wanting to possess the ball. That's always been, you know, their brand. But in these situations, there's a time and place, right? You mentioned AFC being suffocating. They are. So knowing the right moments to play out of the back. Here's another from Okamoto, unfortunately giving the ball away, and Nikki Small just toughing it out here. And McCaslin, of course, coming big. But just being smart in these moments, you know, playing an inside ball that's really, really dangerous. And because they're so threatening on attack, giving a ball away anywhere is just really dangerous. So they have to be a little bit smarter moving forward, obviously with the ball at their feet. They have to make the decision that's right. And again, you have to adapt to the game. If the opposition is breaking you down, you may have to alter the way that you play.
There's just absolutely no space out there. Toronto's closing those gaps. And we did wonder how these two teams would look coming out of that rain delay break. Vancouver had a little bit of spice, little bit of jump, but then Toronto turned around and said, no, we're going to pick up where we left off.
Yeah, Toronto did exactly what they should. They should continue to be as suffocating as possible, continue to try to put as much pressure on Vancouver's back line as possible, because Vancouver's back line is really giving the ball up quite cheaply. Toronto's doing a really good job of positioning themselves well for things like this. Vancouver backline caught ball watching on that rebound. You always have to follow these rebounds down, cover your goalkeeper, and make sure that this does not bounce around in the box back to anybody dangerous. Fantastic goal line clearance from Spencer that could have been avoided there. Again, just giving up the ball cheaply, and Toronto's ready to pounce. Watch Kaylee Hunter's movement here and the patience of Stratigakis before she plays that ball across. Hunter knows where that ball's going. She knows it's coming back to the penalty area. She waits, and then she pulls out. It's just great stuff to see from them. Good, smart movement here by Okoronkwo, holding off that run, knowing she's offside. This is a rare moment of selfishness from Kaylee Hunter. That ball should have gone across the middle of the park, right on Okoronkwo's foot. That would have been 2-0 for Toronto.
Okay, here's the thing. Based on those chances, McCaslin saves, Spencer, incredible save. This could easily be 2-3, maybe even 4-0. It's still a one-goal game. And even though Vancouver's being outplayed, it's still a one-goal game. What is your message if you're in either locker room right now heading into the second half?
I mean, I think gaining territory for Vancouver, being a little bit more direct initially, just so they can kind of get out of their own half is going to be really important for them, I think. And just even like trying to get the ball in behind or off the front, like just a little bit of possession. They haven't used their midfield very much, but the moments to be brave for me are just higher up the field.
What about Toronto?
Toronto just needs to keep doing more of the same. Take care of the ball. Do the simple things well. Do not allow Vancouver the opportunity to get any space in Toronto's defending third.
All right, so yes, it is a lopsided game so far, but not on the score sheet, Kate. It still feels like it can be anybody. We've seen miracles happen before, but as of right now, Toronto pretty dominating.
You'll never get a goal if you don't have a shot on net. We got lots more coming up.
This Northern Super League match is supported by BMO, the official bank of the NSL.
Welcome back to the NSL final at a soggy BMO Field. The home side, AFC Toronto, putting on a show for their fans, keeping the energy high. 17-year-old superstar Kaylee Hunter, the goal scorer in this one. She had one, she could have had more, and she's standing by with our Rob Pizzo.
So Kaylee, an eventful first half, both on the pitch and in the sky. How difficult was it to have to play almost a first half, have a halftime essentially, and then another halftime not long after it?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult. I think the key was just to stay moving in the locker room, stay together as a team, and communicate throughout it, and that's what we did. And we had a few chances here we should have finished, but we're coming out second half to do that.
Well, you did finish on one of your chances. Walk us through that goal.
I mean, I just had lots of space in behind, so I just took my time as we got to the ball, and then once I saw the keeper's legs were open, I just smashed it through.
Let's hope to have a second half without any interruptions. Good luck.
Sure, thank you.
Marko Milanovic says the only time he remembers Kaylee Hunter is 17 is when she has to go do her homework. That wraps up the NSL halftime show presented by BMO. Second half action coming up.
Supported by Toyota, proud founding partner of the NSL. This Northern Super League match is supported by Toyota, proud founding partner of the NSL.
Welcome back. We're getting set for the second half of the Northern Super League final presented by Toyota. It is a 1-0 lead for AFC Toronto over the Vancouver Rise right now. 45 minutes left to play at BMO Field in Toronto. The rain misting down. It's about 6 degrees, feels like more like 3. It's mid-November football, Amy Walsh, as we get things underway here. AFC Toronto with the opening kickoff. Esther Okoronkwo getting things underway. And it was AFC Toronto with the bulk of chances in that opening half. So we'll see what kind of response Vancouver has. Had a chance to reset at halftime, of course. Saw them having a huddle just by their bench ahead of time. It's 45 minutes left on the season, no matter what.
And Abdu there with a foul on Pickett, and that's what Pickett has done, is she's driving forward from that right back position, but these first 15 minutes are going to be critical of the second half for the Vancouver Rise, then also for AFC Toronto to put their stamp on this game and put it out of reach.
Emma Regan found some space. The one-time cross in. Looking for Hunter. Okoronkwo lands on her foot. Whoa, and bowls over Nikki Stanton. That doesn't happen often. Okoronkwo determined across goal, and Morgan McCaslin has it.
Esther Okoronkwo, a woman possessed at the beginning of the second half. Just unbelievable, just bodies Nikki Stanton. Says, I'm gonna keep possession of this ball in the box. Couple of moves to get past Okamoto, and challenges McCaslin to come out and claim that cross. They need to pull it out a little bit more, but she wants to make things decisive and score that second goal to open the second half.
Okoronkwo, of course, winning the WAFCON championship with Nigeria, their 10th title. She said she wants another title. She's hoping it's that NSL crown.
Zoe Burns driving. Holly Ward again coming up big defensively, but yet another corner conceded.
Colby Barnett with the in-swinger. Across the front of goal, headed away by DiFilippo. Burns tried to pop it back in. Not quite, and it's going to be laid off by AFC right to the foot of Lisa Paczerski, who dipsy doodles around and finds Samantha Chang. Paczerski turning the other direction and fought off the ball. Kaylee Hunter, who sends it forward for Okoronkwo. Okoronkwo with a break. Esther Okoronkwo going forward, and McCaslin picks up the ball. Enough pressure by Jessica Cowart, backtracking there. Took the ball away from Okoronkwo, was firmly set on goal.
Only because Esther Okoronkwo wanted it on that favored left foot. Cowart would never have closed her down if she took the more direct route to goal.
Abdu lays off to Paczerski. Chang slowing things down, back to Spencer. Stanton. Okamoto, this is nice from Vancouver now. Holly Ward, one-on-one. Burns does a great job defending. And some pressure. Lake, back to McCaslin. And back to Lake, who's got some room.
AFC Toronto have to find their shape now. You're seeing Vancouver Rise use the width a little bit better, trying to pull AFC Toronto apart so that they can attack those seams. But the transitional moments continue to be troubling the Vancouver Rise. That more direct vertical ball is giving them fits.
Okamoto was looking for Abdu. And that's cleared out for a throw. And Anya Heiner-Moller looking for answers from her team in this second half. Without Quinn, who is out with injury. Happened in the first half near our weather stoppage.
Ball stays in.
Was out of bounds, but moved it in. Desmond Spencer, who had that game-saving stop off the line, stopped an Okoronkwo sure goal. Would have been 2-0. Spencer, the 35-year-old veteran from Bayshore, New York, former striker. So she knows what it takes to win those one-on-one duels, and she was saving goals instead of scoring them there on that game-saving stop. Pickett, little casual. Too much time on the ball. Vancouver was pressing.
The couple of balls given away now by Victoria Pickett. I mean, they've been risky. She's playing them, she's hesitating instead of playing them quickly, instinctively. She's questioning herself and then still playing it anyway, giving Vancouver a chance to pounce on them. You saw that with Paczurski a few minutes ago, driving the other way. Before that led to Okoronkwo in all alone versus Matheson.
Strategakis had released Okoronkwo, and Okoronkwo did not hear the whistle and maybe given a card, and she will for delay of game. Offside flag was up.
And I think truly, given the crowd noise, I don't think she heard the whistle on that delayed offside call. But fires the ball at McCaslin, which is after the whistle, and is cautioned for it. But I think she felt like play was live.
So Okoronkwo given a yellow. In the books alongside Sarah Strategakis. Sorry, pardon me.
It looks to be onside as that's played. So the boos from the crowd, I'm not sure if they saw that replay, is not only because they're siding with their player, saying, I don't think she heard the whistle, but she was onside when that ball was played.
Kelly Hunter down, holding the back of her leg. Challenge from Rebecca Lake. And the ball misplayed by Colby Barnett. She's got some recovering to do. Paczurski with a chance. Paczurski mishandled by Cotillard. And out for a corner kick.
And medical staff will be called on the pitch to tend to Kaylee Hunter, who's still down on the pitch, but that's Jess DiFilippo, who needs to come to life in this contest, who releases Paczurski. And then, as you said, Cotillard slightly misjudges that footwork. Not great prior to that save, but gets enough on it to parry it outside the frame of the goal and out for a corner kick.
And this is what happened with Hunter here. Maybe just a clip in the back of the leg.
Maybe catches just that Achilles, the back of the foot, but regardless has stayed down until that play ended.
Stanton, who came into the game for Quinn, getting set to take this corner kick. Kaylee Hunter back on her feet. She'll have to be given permission to enter the field and play again.
And looks to be okay, moving all right.
Stanton and Ward near the ball. It'll be a... Ooh. And it's in the back of the goal! Near post kick by Nikki Stanton. And this takes a deflection and goes by Sierra Cotillard. We're all tied up at BMO Field in Toronto. Game on!
And the crowd is just stunned here, but not the Crow Collective, not the Vancouver Rise supporters. and certainly not the bench for the Rise that just leapt up and came to life. So this is sent, I think, surprises, and it's Emma Regan. That ball goes under her foot, but it catches Cotillard off guard. Rebecca Lake is just in there, potentially screaming an extra body in the way between Cotillard and Emma Regan, and that is just calamitous by AFC Toronto, who have gifted that to the Rise.
So Vancouver evens this game up at 1. And some of those early chances that AFC Toronto didn't put away, is that going to come back to haunt them? But Vancouver, that curling kick from Nikki Stanton.
The substitute Nikki Stanton, who came on for an injured Quinn.
Go, go, go.
Lifts the ball forward. That was one of the things that the panel was talking about, that they needed to clean up their play in the back, be more decisive with their clearances. So far, so good for Vancouver. Ball played in, Nikki Small. Small slides across Okoronkwo, the touch. Bit too chunky.
And the layoff was there for Kaylee Hunter. So we've seen that attacking tandem, though the understanding has been built over the course of this season. Great spell of play, great build-up, one-touch play off the flank into the central area. Nikki Stanton finding that pocket and then finding the feet of Okoronkwo, but instead of laying it off simply to Kaylee Hunter for perhaps a one-touch finish, tries it herself.
Cotillard to Pickett. Burns gives it up to Chang. Abdu. Vancouver with more confidence here. Some confusion again! And the ball spills right into the arms of Cotillard, but just some mismanagement at the back. And both players down. Sierra Cotillard, Jess DiFilippo looks to be getting up to her feet.
And it's Pechersky just one time off that pass from Abdu, trying to slip DiFilippo in. But really, it's just, again, Rollins coming together with Barnett, both of them going for that ball. That's a mistake, and luckily Cotillard is there, but unsure somewhat as she comes out and clatters into DiFilippo. So I think the Rise now, we talked about how important this first 15 minutes was going to be for the team trailing, and that was the Rise. And they've come out, and now they're looking to dominate a little bit more on the ball, and I think they're sensing some uncertainty from AFC Toronto, and they're looking to capitalize on it. They already have done off that corner kick from Stanton.
Cathro looking forward. Cowart clears it. Once again, Cathro. Back to Rollins. Forward, all the way back to McCaslin, so chance to reset their shape both sides. Vancouver appears to be getting a substitution ready in this match. We'll get to that in just a moment. Stanton was looking for the through ball for Holly Ward. Again, a little bit unsure of herself. Cotillard coming off her line. Pechersky, tackled by Barnett. So it is Vancouver on the front foot here. Approaching the 60-minute mark.
Pechersky just looking to split Regan and Barnett, and successfully does so and is hauled down by the wingback.
So Yuka Okamoto coming out of the match, Mariah Lee coming in, so that'll mean Lisa Peczerski will come over to the left side fullback position. Mariah Lee, a striker. So some attack-minded play here with the game 1-1 for Anya Heiner-Moller's side. Lisa Peczerski, very flexible player, enable Vancouver to play in multiple ways. Has played a bit of fullback, has played up front, has played on the wing. Ball chipped in. Cody Yard will gather that free kick.
And Cody Yard is a young goalkeeper, 22 years old. Has to get rid of it, certainly. Erin McLeod knows all about that one, unfortunately. Sorry, Erin, but she has to start to assert herself here. We talked about whether or not that makeshift back line would come into play, would be a narrative in this contest, and it absolutely has been. We talked about some frailties in Vancouver's back line in the first half, and now at the beginning of the second half, it's been AFC Toronto coping with the onslaught of rushes from Vancouver Rise, and also the lack of communication between Cody Yard and especially Rollins or that back three.
Chang swings the ball into the box, right to Cody Yard. Regan turns. Small. Burns looks forward to Okoronkwo. Ball slipped through. Hunter playing in Okoronkwo. Wants that left foot, Amy! And it goes wide. So far, the Super Falcon has been kept in flight.
Maybe not flying too close to the sun, but those wings pin back a little bit. But you saw that combination. Nikki Small has been integral in that one-touch play, the build-up, going really direct. And Okoronkwo wants to take Cowart, open her up, but Cowart knows it. She's keeping her on her right and not giving her that little window of opportunity to bend it into that far post.
Okoronkwo, the hat trick in 27 minutes against the Montreal Roses in leg number 2 of the playoffs. Certainly been one of the offensive stars of the season. Okoronkwo, 11 goals, 8 assists on the year. So far, kept intact. Barnett, the touch of the foot, finds Hunter. What a touch. I mean, it was just like glue. And Barnett drilled that ball in there.
I mean, first of all, it was a sublime first touch by Barnett to beat her player and to whip that cross in, but it was coming in with some pace. And then the way it was cushioned by Hunter, I mean, she's got tremendous technical ability and is able to win that corner for her team.
Captain Regan on the ball. The Vermilion Vanguard supporters with their flags waving. They want to see something here. Miss hit. Goes right back to Regan. Pops it up high. And Okoronkwo and Kaylee Hunter almost collide. And Vancouver out with it. Pickett. What a slide tackle.
Terrific by Pickett.
Small the other way. Small. Deflects off Lakin into the arms of McCaslin.
That clip ball to the back post was on for Nikki Small, but she had numbers in the box wherever this was placed. But it was good defense by Rebecca Lake.
Gets the call.
Just playing off the shoulder of Lake, and that ball was on. And I think if Zoe Burns had hit that with a little bit more pace, or even on the ground, just kind of bent in so that Esther Okoronkwo could run onto it. I think referee would have allowed play to continue, but because it was kind of chipped in, Lake had to stop the progress of Okoronkwo and it's pulled back.
She's replaced by number 22, Chloe Unenberg.
Sarah Stratigakis comes out of the match for AFC Toronto, and into the match, Chloe Unenberg, 23-year-old from Richmond Hill, Ontario, a St. Kitts and Nevis international, alongside her sisters, Carly and Kayla, comes into the match. Regan runs off the ball, Barnett curls one. Unenberg headed it backward. Right to Lee. Lee with that big assist on Holly Ward's goal against Ottawa, which evened things up in the waning time of the second half. Okoronkwo again. That's Small. Okoronkwo. Okoronkwo tried the shimmy shake. Earns the corner kick.
AFC Toronto have to get the service right on this corner kick. They've certainly lacked quality in this second half. So if they're going to look dangerous much the way they did at the beginning of the first half, it was by way of the service. You had numbers, it was well executed, but it all starts with quality service.
Fans on their feet at BMO Field. 20 minutes into the second half. Obi Barnett, far post, Okoronkwo looking for the header. Headed away by Vancouver, so out for another corner. 10th corner kick of this match for AFC Toronto. Vancouver handling the onslaught.
So Barnett's service has been lofted, and I think she needs to hit a flatter ball. And then Regan, I think, just has mishit a couple in the second half. She's trying to catch Rollins on that front post, similar to Stanton's goal, the equalizer for the Rise. But this has got to be whipped in right around the 6.
Regan strikes it in. Bit more venom on that one. And Pickett took a swing, goes out of bounds.
And that has been the call from that, or to McCaslin's right or on the left side, looking at this end of the pitch, is that in-swinger from Regan looking for Rollins on the flick on it. It almost comes off.
Chang sending a forward ball. It's a nice one to Holly Ward. She's got an edge on Burns. What a finish! Holly Ward puts the Vancouver Rise up 2-1. Holly Ward had been silent for much of this game, but she just exploded for a huge one for Vancouver.
Elation for the Rise, and the crowd stunned. Marko Milanovic stunned. But what a well-executed build and a breakout by the Rise. You saw the slight hesitation from McCaslin, the long ball. Perfect first touch by Pechurski, goes inside. Chang passes it, springs a streaking Holly Ward. That touch was critical. Inside Burns, and then with her left foot, her favorite left foot, Holly Ward, and you see a retreating Cotillard, beats her just along the ground, just off the ground, to Cotillard's left, and rides the tackle out. Unbelievable stuff from Holly Ward. As you said, Signa Butler had not affected this game whatsoever, and comes to life at exactly the right time.
Pechurski called for the foul, and Marie Soleil-Baudouin says that's enough.
Just a little bit of a shove. I think it's a foul, but I think Pechurski's saying she went over a little bit too easily.
So the Vancouver Rise, 2 second half goals for a 2-1 lead over AFC Toronto, the Supporters Shield winners, as best regular season record. They've left a couple chances on the table in this match. Do they have a rebound here? Barnett goes to the far post. Okoronkwo heads it across goal. Possibly called for over the back, Amy?
No, I think it's offside. From a free kick that was a mere 5 yards from the byline, that's inexcusable. I think the wall is holding Okoronkwo on side, but she can see where they're set up. So if she's put herself offside there, that's unforgivable.
Deep throw in for AFC Toronto. Burns earns the corner kick. This has been something we talked about with Marko Milanovic and his team this season. They haven't had maybe 2 goals off corner kick set pieces. A lot of them have been in the run of play. I mean, a lot of them have been screamers, but their goals have not been dirty goals.
There's been one. It was Kayla Hansen's goal that was directly off a corner kick, and Kazaki's was the second phase.
And both of those against the Vancouver Rise. Ball bounces. Barnett gets up on Mariah Lee and wins the ball back. Pickett pushing forward. Remember, Pickett's playing in the back line.
Catches a hand to her face.
Hand to the face.
By Sam Chang, I believe.
So a yellow card showed. I'm not sure if that's to Paczerski or Chang. Will get that sorted out for you.
I think how Chang is pleading with the referee as Lee comes by to help. It's just a turning Chang as Pickett had successfully megged her. It's accidental, but a hand to face is usually a cautionable offense.
So it is Chang with the yellow card.
Yellow card issued in the 72nd minute to Vancouver teammate Samantha Chang.
Colby Barnett, you have to put this in that corridor of uncertainty. Right in between McCaslin and that 6.
Barnett. And she hit that corridor. Headed away. Cathro. Handball called. Played quickly. Small. Up against 2 players. Small. Try to get the cross in and goes out for a goal kick. Soleil Baudouin, double cards there. AFC Toronto arguing calls. Sarah Rollins, the initial foul on Latifa Abdu.
But if it's an initial foul, why is it not called? She's shielding the ball here. Abdu's draped all over her and then hauls her down. I don't understand how that ends up being a free kick for the Rise. And caution for it, for good measure.
And Colby Barnett also cautioned as well, so a couple cards being handed out here in the second half. And Toronto's got to get their composure back here.
I think they're still reeling, Signa, from conceding that second goal. We talked about responses all game long, responses to the game delay, responses to conceding the first goal, to AFC Toronto dominating this game thoroughly. And the Rise so far didn't have one, but they did at the beginning of the second half in the form of 2 goals, one the equalizer and then the go-ahead one. But now AFC Toronto, they haven't really delivered a response quite yet.
Nikki Stanton with the first Vancouver Rise goal in the 54th minute, followed by Holly Ward's stunner in the 68th minute. Gives the Rise the lead.
It was an incredible run, an incredible finish by Holly Ward, but what a team goal by the Rise.
Small turns inside, edged off the ball, and a shot from distance takes a deflection and out for a corner kick.
And now that the pendulum has swung completely to the other side, where it's AFC Toronto wasteful in possession, on their heels, and Vancouver Rise able to capitalize on that, winning the ball higher up the pitch and converting on their opportunities, which is something that AFC Toronto had failed to do. They dominated the first half, but came out of it only up by 1 goal, and it's come back to bite them.
20 minutes played in this second half. Foul call atop the box. Zoe Burns on the break. Closed down by Abdu. As Kaylee Hunter. Jasmine Spencer got stuck in there and won the ball back. Some hard fouls back and forth here, Amy.
Turned into, it was a fluid first half, turned in, especially after the second goal by Vancouver Rise, a stop-start, chippy, physical affair. No love lost between these two sides.
Zoe Burns comes out of the match for AFC Toronto. Lauren Rowe into the match, the 21-year-old from Conception Bay South, Newfoundland and Labrador. A summer transfer signing and one of the fastest players you will see on the pitch. Speaking of fast, here's Holly Ward taking a cutback. Little casual. But AFC Toronto gets it out. Hunter working against Rebecca Lake. And quickly down to Lauren Rowe. Rowe going one-on-one. And cleared up by Lisa Pachursky, out for another corner kick. You can feel the urgency here at BMO Field in Toronto.
That's the right kind of sub from Marko Milanovic, because Lauren Rowe might be the fastest player in this league. So already dangerous on transition, and then her pace injected into this game is going to make a difference.
Barnett again, corner kick, floated. And Abdu races out with it and sliding out in the nick of time. And got the tail end of Mariah Lee.
Emma Regan, yeah, with that great slide tackle to intervene. Mariah Lee, and just misses the ball and absolutely goes through Regan, and at that point it's Lee's knee that comes into contact with Regan's back and her head.
The Toronto captain, the Iron Woman, who's played every single minute this season, isn't going to leave this game.
Vancouver Rise's goal coming off a goal kick. So they march down the field and get that second goal to go ahead in this game. But then a couple minutes ago, they had a free kick, Vancouver Rise, about 30 yards from their own net, and a long diagonal ball beat AFC Toronto's back line on the right. So they have to do much better defensively in holding their shape, but just that back line and holding their line.
Abdu tried to squeak it through for Ward, and Sierra Cotillard, well off her line, did well to beat Ward to the ball. Okoronkwo. Out for throw. Directional header to Okoronkwo. Lake wins it. And again, it's Rowe on the ball. Barnett poked it through. Coward will clear that well out of bounds. Injured Quinn joining the Vancouver Rise on the bench after going out with injury in the first half. Here come the Rise. Abdu with a turn! Cotillard kick save! Vancouver just giving Toronto fits right now. Paczurski's cross. Headed away, Rowe. Gets it away, earns the foul. A tale of two halves, Amy.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it, like the onslaught by AFC Toronto in the first half. We've seen Vancouver Rise foot on the gas, do the same in the second half. And we know at this point that the patience versus urgency for AFC Toronto, you have no choice now but to maybe expose yourself at the back and throw bodies forward. And Abdu, another 2 cards for these 2 players. So we've seen this before in exactly the same foul, but Abdu wasn't booked for it. And the displeasure from Pickett, who is sick and tired of being fouled by her, but she has to maintain her composure at the back.
Well, cooler heads must prevail here. 10 minutes to play in the inaugural NSL final. And right now, as it were, Vancouver Rise with 2 second-half goals have 1 foot in the door to winning that Diana B. Matheson Trophy. The cup. Small to Hunter, back to Small. Gets it back to Pickett. Pickett moving forward. Pathrow to Barnett. Barnett, the cross in. A slip by Chang. Lands to Okoronkwo and cleared by Holly Ward. And out for a goal kick. That AFC Toronto, the fluency that they had on attack is sorely lacking right now. It's becoming very individual in the way that they're attacking in that middle third, but especially that attacking third. Okoronkwo received the ball earlier. She had 3 bodies around her. Instead of turning around and shifting the ball over, she kept it, dribbled it. The speed of play just is not there, and neither is the execution for Toronto. Barnett, the cross in. Okoronkwo's there. Over her head. Right to Small. Small, 1v1. Slides it through to Hunter. And it's cleared.
It's Holly Ward again coming up big in her own penalty area.
Mariah Lee smartly out to Lisa Paczerski. Will slow things down in no rush at all with just over 5 minutes to play. This is the way the Rise want to play. Keeping that possession. Pickett sliding. Ward turns on the inside, and Pickett turns right back. Back and forth.
Just given away.
Ball cleared up. Up the pitch, back to McCaslin.
Insertion of Lauren Rowe on the attack, you get that stretch. You get Vancouver Rise to back off, but you lose Small in those pockets. She's pulled wide in the position that Zoe Burns was occupying, and now Esther Okoronkwo is dropped back in more of a 10 role for Toronto.
Spencer playing over top, corralled by Cathro. To Okoronkwo, showing for the ball. Swinging the ball in. Offside flag up. Does AFC Toronto have a goal in them to send this to extra time? Haven't seen much around goal in the second half.
A disciplined, well-structured shape defensively by the Rise that has kept AFC Toronto peripheral. It's kept them very much to the outside, and we've seen them try to threaten from wide areas and lots of crosses that have amounted to very little.
Hunter chasing that down, was checking to see if she was offside. Haley Hunter, the cross in! Thought it hit a handball! And no call! Thought it skipped up and hit a hand. Morgan McCaslin on it.
So Kaylee Hunter initially on this ball from Pickett, it hesitated, but again, it's Jasmine Spencer on the top of the screen that holds her inside or onside. Another opportunity here closely, but as that ball gets cut back with pace by Hunter, Rowe is going for it and it gets popped up, deflected, looks to be onto the hand of Spencer. And that was the more recent chance where we've seen some beautiful first touches by Kaylee Hunter, but she'd like to have that one back.
Hunter tried to turn. Nikki Stanton won the tackle. But Emma Regan moving forward. Emma Regan, the captain. Flying Small. Small, good in small spaces. Okoronkwo the shot. No, it's into the hands of McCaslin. Since that early goal from AFC Toronto, McCaslin has been up to the task.
Her positioning has been excellent, so is her timing on coming out to claim on those crosses. She's commanded her box wonderfully well over the course of this game, not just in the second half.
Rowe called for the foul on Paczerski.
So we're going to see this possible handball again. That ball sent, it absolutely goes up off the forearm of Rebecca Lake as Jasmine Spencer slides in to thwart the connection from Hunter to Rowe. And as Rebecca Lake closing down, that ball bounces up and hits her right forearm. I think AFC Toronto were right to claim a potential penalty on that play.
Pechersky, and the foul goes on Okoronkwo. Everyone incensed on the AFC Toronto side of things.
Just throw by Pickett, and you can see Okoronkwo has her arms hooked around Pechersky. But it's handsy on both sides because Pechersky has her hands all over Okoronkwo as well. But I think initially it was Okoronkwo with her arms up, and that's what Marie-Soleil Beaudoin saw, and that's what she called.
Pechersky out of bounds with Lauren Rowe lurking. Hunter, early cross. Headed down by Cowart. And Vancouver handles that very well coming out of their own end. 5 minutes of added time in this inaugural Northern Super League final. Player down on the opposite side of the pitch. Colby Barnett.
As Jasmine Spencer won that ball, she came through the back of Colby Barnett, but won that ball cleanly. It's been a physical affair in the second half. So a looser first touch by Barnett, and then Lee is there. Strong foot, wins that ball cleanly.
Latifa Abdu will be leaving this match, and Anna Bout will come in. 24-year-old from Cambridge, Ontario. A summer transfer signing out of Denmark. We're in added time at BMO Field in Toronto. Vancouver Rise up 2-1 on AFC Toronto. Is there one final goal here? Will we see another playoff go to extra time? Victoria Pickett moving forward as Chloe Edberg slides through to Lauren Rowe. Couldn't get the touch off.
And Edinburgh couldn't get that pass right. If she'd given Rowe the space to run onto that ball, that would have been an opportunity on goal. Instead, she passed it behind her.
And now Holly Ward. A smart touch out of her foot just to take it onto this left touch line. Toronto will converge 3 players on her to try and win the ball back, and Ward still with it. Back to Pechersky. Throw in for AFC Toronto. 2.5 minutes left in added time. Pumps it up the pitch. Cowart will take no chances and send it out for another throw-in. Small deflects off the foot of Chang, and Stanton tried to clear it away. It'll go out the opposite side of the pitch for another throw-in. Everyone's got to reshape, though. Seeing a lot of action down the right side. Pickett. One time played into Rowe. Tried to get by Spencer. Spencer is there.
And with the exit of Abdu, the insertion of Bout, she'll come into that midfield wide on the right. So Vancouver playing more of a 4-5-1 with Lee as that target. Talked about how important the midfield would be for both of these teams, in this second half midfield battle has been decisively won by the Vancouver Rise. And I think the exit of Stratigakis made it the field tilt even more in Vancouver's favor in terms of that dominance in the middle of the park.
A minute left to play. ball just not falling in AFC Toronto's favor here. And out for a Vancouver Rise throw. Stanton sending it forward. More time ticking off the clock.
Will AFC Toronto remain winless at BMO Field?
Right now it's looking that way with very little time left on the clock. Will want to send this up as quickly as she can. Try and get one final chance at goal. Small wins the tackle. Regan. Okoronkwo. The cross in. And that's it. History made for the Vancouver Rise, your first ever Northern Super League champions. A tale of two halves. 2 goals fall in the favor of the Rise. And AFC Toronto Supporters Shield winners, crestfallen at BMO Field.
I used the word stunned to describe Marko Milanovic and AFC Toronto after they conceded that second goal and the Vancouver Rise took the lead. And it was much merited, Signa. Chances that went wasted by AFC Toronto to kill the game in the first half, they didn't, and they gave the Rise a chance back into this game, but it was a second half that was dominated by the Rise. A quick turnaround. We talked about how the weather delay would influence these teams and potentially benefit the Rise, but it took into the second half for this team to come to life. And after an uneven season where AFC dominated, they had the resilience, and I think that was on display today as they came up with the moments of brilliance that swayed the game in their favor, and they are the inaugural champs in NSL.
You see the elation on one side of the pitch and devastation on the other. So dominant on the season, 15 weeks at the top of the table for AFC Toronto, but on the day where it mattered the most, it was the Vancouver Rise, who have shown their resiliency this season. At one point of the year, 5th and out of the playoff picture, coming from behind twice in their semifinal leg against the Ottawa Rapid, winning in penalty kicks. And here, 2 second-half goals. Nikki Stanton, what a second half. She created the spark, didn't she?
She did. I talked about the way the team might be unsettled by Quinn's exit and everything that was lost that Quinn gives to this team off the ball, but then also in build-up, in those long switches of play, the way they quarterback the attack. But Stanton is a heady veteran, and she was a linchpin in there. She marshaled that midfield. She covered ground. She was the glue for the Rise that they needed in order to bring them to life in the second half. Unbelievable scenes here at BMO Field.
Esther Okoronkwo devastated. Marko Milanovic going around the field, consoling his players. But on the other side, see Nikki Stanton in the middle there. Morgan McCaslin, the goalkeeper, Golden Glove winner this season, kept them in it. Especially in that first half when AFC Toronto was on the front foot times 1,000.
It looked inevitable for a little bit of time in the first half that this was going to be Supporters Shield AFC Toronto. They talked about how much that meant to them because it spoke to their consistency and their dominance over the course of the season. But they wanted that here today. And then wave after wave of attack. And yes, there was a lack of clinical edge by Okoronkwo and Hunter in particular, because we know how menacing they were over the course of this season. But it was Morgan McCaslin that stood tall and kept the Vancouver Rise in this contest that allowed them to have a second half where they turned the table. They put the narrative on its ear. They flipped it on its head. And they took the game. They started to dominate the ball a little bit more and dictate terms to AFC Toronto. And they did not have an answer. They did not have a response once Holly Ward scored that go-ahead goal.
The confidence just built and built, and culminating with Holly Ward's goal. Captain Emma Regan having some words for AFC Toronto. The influential captain, the Iron Woman of the NSL. But Holly Ward with that winning goal today, 2-1. And let's go down to Rob Pizzo, pitch side.
Thank you very much, Signal Holly. You're now the answer to a trivia question. Who scored the first ever championship winning goal in NSL history? How does that feel?
It feels so good. I'm honestly slightly overwhelmed. Like, this is so cool, honestly. And I'm just so happy and honored to be a part of this team and a part of this inaugural season. So shout out to my team. I'm so proud of us and what we've done this season. So.
Let's talk about your team, because you were under attack in that first half. Talk about the resiliency from this team to be able to stay in this game, stay within striking distance, and be able to pull it off in the end.
I mean, Sam said it in our huddle, like, it's never easy for us. Like, we've fought through injuries this whole season, and so many key players have, you know, been injured this season. So I think, like, yeah, it's never easy, but no matter what, we're going to get the job done. So
Times like this, I'm sure you're thinking about people in your life that helped you get to this point, and this is your point to be able to thank them. Who helped you get here?
My family, my boyfriend, they're actually up in the stands today. They don't normally fly out to, like, these games that are far away, but they came to this one knowing it was so special. So shout out to them. I love them all.
Congratulations. Go celebrate with your teammates.
Thank you.
Signa?
Awesome stuff, Rob. One of the breakout stars in the NSL this season was Holly Ward, so maybe fitting that she gets that winning goal today. That's for sure. Let's go down to Kate McKenna, who's got a special athlete alongside her.
Fans, please join us in celebrating an incredible performance. Fans, please join us in celebrating an incredible performance and an unforgettable Northern Super League final. I'm here with Cyril Dimitris, President and CEO of Toyota Canada, and thrilled to present the first ever NSL Final MVP Award. Toyota, a founding partner of the NSL, is proud to support the growth of women's professional soccer in Canada, driving progress, passion, and possibility both on and off the pitch. And today, it's very much about what happened on the pitch in this incredible match. Together, we'd like to congratulate Morgan McCaslin from the Vancouver Rise on being the first ever NSL Final MVP.
Congratulations so much. Awesome game.
Now, Morgan, you've made history twice tonight, being a first ever NSL champ and a first ever NSL Final MVP. How does it feel?
Oh my gosh, it feels so amazing. I feel like, I'm sorry, I'm emotional right now. I just feel like this is everything we've been working for the whole year, and everything I'm working for since I was like young. I just never thought this was possible when I was younger. I never got to see this representation. So to do it tonight and be historic is incredible.
Your team has been the picture of resilience all season long, and again tonight. What is it about this group that makes you unable to be counted out?
We're so mentally tough. We've been through so much adversity this year. I think we've been battle tested all year long. So when we went a goal down, we had a lightning delay. It didn't phase us, and we just kept going. So we've been through it.
Vancouver is also developing a reputation for having some of the best fans in the league who traveled here tonight. What has their support meant all season long?
Oh my gosh, it's everything. They've made up their own chants, they have flags, they flew out all the way to Toronto to support us, and we are so thankful for the Crows and for all our family and friends that came out.
Well, Morgan, thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Thank you also to our partners at Toyota for helping celebrate this historic moment.
Well, Morgan McCaslin and Amy Walsh I look at this athlete from Waterdown, Ontario, so pretty close by, kind of towards more Hamilton than Toronto, but she has been the Golden Glove winner. She had 9 clean sheets on the season, started 26 of the matches, well, now 27 as of today. Not on the NSL Best 11. Neither was anybody on the Vancouver Rise, by the way.
Yep.
Which was voted on by the players. But maybe this is a little bit of sweet redemption for somebody who's maybe been underrated all season long.
I think for this entire team, right? They came in here as underdogs. This was very much the narrative. It was AFC Toronto's to lose, not about the Vancouver Rises to go out and claim and grab. But something that Kate said there to Morgan about the resilience and not ever being counted out, like whether it was self-inflicted through poor quality or a poor run of form, or the injury crisis at the center back position that they went through this year, this team has found a way time and time again to get back to their roots, to their foundation, to the style of play that they espouse, and be true to that, and to come out on top. And it's been remarkable to watch all season long, and Morgan McCaslin is a microcosm of that.
Here comes the trophy award to the inaugural Northern Super League champion. It's the Diana B. Matheson Cup, coming to be presented to the winning team, the Vancouver Rise. So there it is. A thing of beauty, as is this league formed by Diana Matheson.
Here to assist in the medal ceremony, representing the Northern Super
So coming up, we'll have the medal ceremony for both of these teams. Diana Matheson in the middle there, next to the cup that bears her name, switching places with Joyce and President Christina Litz. The officials for today's match also receiving medals for their significant contributions this season. This has been a year of development, a year of experience for the officials as well, led by Marie-Soleil Baudouin, a 42-year-old from Quebec City, lives in Halifax. FIFA ref since 2014. Stephanie Fortin, 40-year-old from Quebec City. Camille Raymond, the 27-year-old from Quebec City. And Carly Shaw McLaren, the 4th official for today's match, from Prince George, BC, now lives in Ottawa.
Part of nourishing that valuable ecosystem around everything on the pitch and getting more women in these positions, giving them that much needed experience.
It's not just about the player development. It's not just about the coach development. It's not just about building the fan bases, which we saw celebrated here with over 12,000 fans at BMO Field in Toronto. But it's about everybody, and about this very first domestic professional league in Canada. Led by Emma Regan, AFC Toronto, getting their silver medals, the runner-up medals. And after being on top of the table for 15 weeks, Amy, I mean, this is the pit of the stomach that you're feeling right now when you're getting these medals, but
yes.
It's also fuel. It's also fuel.
Oh, they are 100% already thinking about next year. I think the players are still getting their wits about them, but I mean, to go from that position of dominance, Supporters Shield winning, and rolling teams. They beat the Montreal Roses 6-1 on aggregate in semis. They looked like they were unstoppable, and that it was going to be inevitable that they were going to raise the Diana B. Matheson Cup. But it wasn't to be, because the Vancouver Rise had something to say about it. But what a tremendous and consistent performance by AFC Toronto. High quality, players like Kaylee Hunter Esther Okoronkwo and her play in the WAFCON for the Super Falcons, and then bringing that form back to this league, highlight reel goals from back to front. Just a really impressive roster with tremendous depth on it as well. So Billy Wilson, Marko Milanovic, they'll get right back at it. Helena Rookin, their owner, like all of that group there, that you can be sure that this is going to be a team to reckon with next season.
And they did play that exciting brand of football, which I know Billy Wilson and Marko Milanovic had on their minds from the very start of the season. They recruited that way. They had the talent. They were prolific, and it just was not their day today. Plenty of chances, Amy, as you mentioned, in the first half that could have put this away.
It could have been over. It could have been done and dusted by that halftime, and maybe even before that rain delay around the 37th minute, or the lightning delay. But they failed to capitalize, and that was antithetical in the way that they've operated this year. They've had those chances and they've taken them. They have those marauding and menacing strikers in Hunter and Okoronkwo. You have the chance creator and the creative spark in Nikki Small, who for me is one of the best players in this league. Emma Regan is the heartbeat of that midfield, sets the tempo, marshals everything. And I think Croy Soto, they felt her absence today, who had really made her place in the heart of that back three. Sarah Rollins at 20 years old will just continue to get better, and so will Cody Yard as that goalkeeper. So a team to watch out for next year, certainly.
But here come the champions, the Vancouver Rise. Morgan McCaslin, Mariah Lee, Nikki Stanton and company. Wearing that precious gold medal around their necks. And Vancouver, the Tifa Abdu coming over at that transfer window from Montreal, winning a championship, contributing offensively.
A heck of a season by Abdu, who I think left the Montreal Roses on 6 goals. She remains the second leading scorer for them on the regular season. Came over to the Rise, a controversial intra-league transfer. It added some drama, it added some spice, and she brought an already potent attack for Vancouver to life. Basically that tandem between she and DiFilippo. Long before that, it was DiFilippo as the 9 that became the focal point of the attack, but the two of them together were incredible to watch, and they made that attack tick.
5 goals for Abdu since joining the Vancouver Rise. DiFilippo, 7 goals on the season. Nikki Stanton, though, with that important corner kick, which caused confusion. The first goal, Quinn injured in today's match just before the weather delay. And we wondered how Vancouver would perform without their ability to paint the pitch. And, well, quintessential leader Quinn is. And their team followed through with a victory today.
And it's McCaslin, I think, with the much-deserved MVP, but this was a team win. And you don't do it without players like your Wiley vets, like the Nikki Stantons, who understand the occasion. They understand how to manage the game state, talk to the younger players, pull them in. But players like Ward and Pachersky, they were also the sparks and the bright spots throughout this season. But Holly Ward, not influential prior to that goal, but when it mattered, she came to life.
There's Anya Heiner-Muller, of course. Shannon Weller, the injured captain, getting her medal. And Vancouver Rise getting ready to celebrate. Let's head down to Kate McKenna, field level.
Well, thank you. What a season it has been. It's one defined by passion, by talent, and moments we will never forget. The Northern Super League was built to shape the future of women's soccer in Canada and beyond. And tonight, that future is shining brighter than ever. On behalf of everyone involved, thank you to the players, coaches, officials, volunteers, and of course, all of you, the fans, who showed up, rain or shine, for making this first season of the Northern Super League something truly special. Now, it's time to honor our champions. Christina Litz will now present the Diana B. Matheson Cup to Vancouver Rise captains Samantha Chang and Shannon Weller. Congratulations to our champions, the Vancouver Rise, and thank you all for being part of this inaugural NSL season.
Vancouver Rise celebrating that Diana B. Matheson Cup as AFC Toronto staff look on. That deserving victory today. We talked about the tale of two halves, Amy, and that reset that Vancouver was able to do. The Wiley veterans, you think about Jasmine Spencer clearing a sure goal from Esther Okoronkwo off the line.
We talked about it being critical at the time, but boy, was that a game-saving moment. It allowed them, same as some of those saves by Morgan McCaslin, allowed them to still have a path, a way back into this game. And they were able to do it, and then they turned things on. It's not that they just came to life, it's that they just assumed kind of the style of play that they've always played with over the course of this season when they're in that strong run of form, is they like to dominate the ball. They like to dictate the tempo via possession. And that's what they did in the second half. And AFC Toronto were unable to cope with it because they just threw numbers forward, and they just had a couple of opportunities. They had to weather the storm as AFC Toronto, but that one goal, the go-ahead goal, the number 2 that came from the goal kick, it was maybe 5 passes, and then that goal was in the back of the net.
Let's go pitch side with Rob Pizzo and Samantha Chang.
Take a picture without me.
Oh, no. Oh, go to your break. We were going to talk to Samantha Chang, but, you know, she doesn't want to miss out on this picture, so we'll let her go. We'll talk to her in just a minute. So for now, let's send it back up to Signal.
That's the way things go. It's like hurry up and wait. We know. It's like weather delays. It's like broadcast. We know how it is. But yeah, you need to have this memorable. Take a picture.
Yeah, this is much better than an interview with Rob Pizzo.
Oh, come on. Poor Rob. Well, yeah, the Diana B. Matheson Cup. Raised to the roof by the Rise. And now I believe Samantha Chang is back with Rob. So let's go back down to pitch side.
I couldn't deprive her from being in that picture. Congratulations, that's fine. It's the only time you're allowed to just run away during an interview when you have that, but no problem. Congratulations on just a fantastic game. You know, we've been talking, the entire crew has been mentioning a tale of two halves. You were under attack in that first half. Second half was completely different. What was said at halftime? You're one of the leaders. What was said in there to really turn things around?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with the lightning break that kind of gave us a little bit of time to reset, look at the film, look what we needed to do better, how to stop them from just coming down on us, honestly. At halftime, it was just, you know, this is a final, find an extra gear. If we want to win this thing, everybody needs to put in a little bit more. So that was the messaging, and, you know, also big time moments are made for big time players, and that's what happened today in the second half.
Before the match, we talked about you being, you know, near home, friends and family, 40 members. I spoke to your dad before the game. He was actually drying off 40 seats for your friends and family because they were just soaking wet. And he's like, oh, they got to be dry for the family. What's it feel like just to look up in the stands, see so many people here cheering you on in such a special moment?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's everything. I love my family so much. I could get emotional just speaking about it. But, you know, coming up from halftime, I just looked at them in the crowd. And, you know, my brother, my dad, they just gave me a let's go. And I knew that it was time to go. And that's time for me to lead the team and do everything I can to win. And yeah, it just, you get that extra love and support, and you know that no matter what happens, I know that they're proud of me, but of course it makes me feel happy that they can be so proud of this win too.
This is history, the first ever championship in league history. Now you can kind of take a second and really look back and soak it all in, and just how thankful are you that this league exists and these women exist and your teammate exists to be able to do this and to be able to compete at this level?
It's everything. I'm so happy that, you know, Diana Matheson put in the work to get this league started. We needed this league. All of us Canadians gave us a place to come back to, come home, be close to our families, develop the next generation, inspire the next generation. So this league has been everything, and you know, it took me a second to realize what we actually did today after the whistle blew. You know, we played and we won in the first game, and now we won in the last one, and just lifting that trophy, being the first ever champion, you know, nobody can ever take that away from us. It's history tonight, just like it was on April 16th.
And I'm not going to let you take away from that celebration over there. Go with your teammates. Congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Signa.
Thanks, Rob, and thanks to Samantha Chang, who took over that captaincy from Shannon Weller this season. Great to see Shannon out there celebrating with her team after that devastating ACL injury earlier this season. Well, we have plenty more ahead for you. Our Northern Super League final coverage continues, so make sure you stay with us. A rainy Toronto night at BMO Field in Toronto, but it's all smiles if you're the Vancouver Rise. Welcome inside BMO Field in Toronto. The Vancouver Rise continues to celebrate their inaugural Northern Super League crown, the Diana B. Matheson Cup. And we'll have more on this game as we send it down to Andy, Claire, and Aaron.
The celebrations definitely continuing on the pitch, and the fans also remaining despite the rain. Oh yes, it has been raining this entire time. And we wondered how things would look in the second half in this game. And even though it was once again dominated by AFC Toronto, Vancouver did end up flipping this pitch. I was going to say, you know, flipping a switch, but no, they flipped the pitch. That's what I was trying to be creative. Don't look at me like, I don't know. It's been windy, rainy, and cold, but it has been a game. And this is the thing. Quinn comes out. Stanton is the substitute, and she ends up getting, I want you to break this down because we're trying to figure out if this is a beautiful goal, goalkeeper error, or both.
A little bit of everything, yeah. Stanton comes in, does a really good job. It's slick, right? It's been raining for a long time. She hits his curveball in, and an awkward bounce. I think it just grazes the bottom of Regan's cleat. And then I think Cotillard just looks almost surprised that the ball comes to her. It's a really hard goal to accept as a team, and obviously a little bit deflating as well.
That's what you're looking for, though. You're looking for that near post deflection, right? Lake is right there. If that ball gets missed, if Cotillard doesn't happen to be in that position, if Reek doesn't happen to hit Regan's cleat, Lake's right there to put that away.
And we knew going into the second half it was just a one-goal lead despite all the chances that Toronto had. We'll get into that in just a moment. And all you needed was that one goal. Vancouver got it to feel confident. And we had just finished saying, hey, did Holly Ward touch the ball? And she went, present.
Yeah, there was a moment there where we were like, we thought she would be really influential in this match, like consistently bombing down that left side of the pitch. She really hadn't felt like she touched the ball all match until this goal happened. It was a great goal from Vancouver here. Just a quick little ball out wide. Sam Chang picks it up in a second here. Great ball down the line, and Holly Ward uses her speed here, all of it too. Great first touch. Touches it right inside, gives herself a much better angle. She scored a lot of goals like this year, I feel like. That quick run down the left side of the park. She's able to finish it really cleanly into that far post.
And fantastic first touch for me. She totally eliminates the defender in this situation. She cannot really put any body pressure on her. She takes her out. It's a PK, right? For me, my only criticism of Cotillard, she kind of falls backwards. I wish her hands were coming out nice and big. But again, props to Holly Ward, who again was silent most of the game, but comes out with a nice goal.
That was the Toyota drive of the match, recognizing tonight's best strike on net. The players just soaking in all of this. And by the way, it is history, because yes, Vancouver, the first ever NSL champions. But how about this? Holly Ward is now in the history books twice. So she becomes the first NSL player to score a goal with the national team, which she did for Canada this summer. And now she is the game-winning goal in the first ever championship game in the NSL. And I don't want to pile on, you don't want to add salt in the wounds, but at the end of the day, with AFC Toronto dominating that first half, again, the shots were 8 on target to none in that first half. In the second half, Vancouver outshot them 8-2 total, and then 3 on target to Toronto had a big goose egg shots on target in that second half, because Claire, this could have been different. Esther Okoronkwo, who has been brilliant throughout the season, knows how to find the back of the net, had many chances here. A lot of the team did, but Esther in particular was in front of the net, and then just that clinical finish wasn't there tonight.
Yeah, it was a final decision making. Kaylee Hunter did the same thing in the first half, made the wrong decision, tried to go for goal for herself, should have cut the ball across to Okoronkwo, but Okoronkwo had trouble in the second half, really making that clinical final decision. Great runs. I thought this one was offside, but you know, that's just me. Full break in on goal. It looks like she's not quite sure what to do with the ball. She allows the defenders to catch up with her. Again, second chance here. Great run. Fully onside, but she's got Kaylee Hunter in the middle. Kaylee Hunter's doing a good job staying onside. This gets called as a late offside. She gets a yellow card for playing that ball in afterwards. It's really too bad. They had these opportunities and just could not find a way to put them away. Again here, a final decision. It looked like she just wasn't ready to receive the ball, and these touches just for AFC Toronto were not landing in the second half. Slowed down their attack too much, just could not get their foot around the ball.
And then I guess for me, the shout out to McCaslin, because early in the game, they have so many opportunities. If she doesn't make those crucial saves, the game is over. It'll be 3-0 within 15 minutes of the game. So for me, McCaslin is the right choice for MVP. What a difference she has made, and what an absolute honor to watch this game, to have been a part of this league. I'm sobbing like crazy watching them get all the awards, and to see what it means to these athletes to do this for the first time at home is so significant.
Latifa Abdu, by the way, making that change from Montreal to Vancouver, is obviously patting herself on the back for making that decision. But you're right, this is a historical moment, but it's got to be an emotional moment as two people who played, as two people who fought for women to be recognized in this sporting world of soccer in this country, to have this league here. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, Amy and I were talking about this before the match, and I think Aaron probably had a similar experience. Back in our day, you had to make your own future. You had to find your own path to the national team. These players don't have to do this anymore. They have a professional league they can play in. They have options. We didn't have options. That's how I'm feeling, and I'm hoping that this continues. This momentum continues into their second season.
And I think for me, Diana Matheson, I always have to say it, like, she's made this possible for so many people. When I was 5 years old with my beautiful mullet and always watching hockey, I didn't think this was a possibility, and now it is. And not just for athletes. We're talking about physiotherapists and doctors and people in marketing and sales. It's opened the doors for so many people, and I'm just so proud to have witnessed it.
There she is, Diana Matheson, and this is a moment that she should definitely be proud of as well. And I know she's in it. She is serious. She's like in this moment right now, but I'm sure when she goes home, after she takes that hot shower and warms up a little bit, she can look back and see what she was able to help build and actually get started here in Canada. So an incredible moment. Congratulations to both finalists, but of course, Vancouver rise as champions. Back to you, Signa.
Thanks so much, Andy. Yes, up here, well, we don't have much rain here in the booth. We've been sheltered all night, so sorry to you guys who have had to run back and forth. Amy, let's talk about this game and just your thoughts on the tale of two halves and the reset that the Vancouver Rise underwent and ultimately, winning the top prize.
I mean, Sam Chang alluded to it about, the weather delay. They went back, they said a few things, and then the second half, it's like, this is it. We have to leave it all here. We've played this entire season. It's basically do or die. And they came out and they outperformed AFC Toronto. And Andy, it's flipped the script, if you were looking for that earlier. And that's exactly what the Vancouver Rise did. They dictated terms to AFC Toronto when in the first half, AFC Toronto, if they were a little bit more clinical, a little bit more ruthless, which they had been over the course of the season, that's why they won the Supporters' Shield, they were unable to do it, and it was, as Aaron mentioned, due to the MVP and Morgan McCaslin, because that back line was untidy. That back line lacked discipline. It was not tight, and AFC Toronto had their way with it. But they made some tactical adjustments, and I want to shout out Enya Heiner-Moller because I think she outcoached Marko Milanovic tonight. I think you saw her use her substitutes in the second leg of the semifinal. Everybody contributed. You saw two substitutes score goals in that penalty shootout to get them the win. And tonight, the changes that she made, including one that she was forced into, Stanton for Quinn, made a huge difference in the match, whereas Milanovic, I think his substitutions fell flat.
So thoughts on the overarching part of the season, Amy? And we did hear earlier today the Canadian government is going to be investing $5.4 million into the growth of the Northern Super League and the economy around the Northern Super League. We've seen sponsors come on board and support this league, believe in this league. But the play on the pitch, we didn't know what to expect on day one. We didn't know the quality.
It was the big question mark.
And from day one, April 16th to now, what has been your thought about this season?
Again, to go back to Sam Chang's interview with Pizzo, they bookended the season. That inaugural match at BC Place, they won 1-0, and of course it was Quinn. It had to be Quinn as a reference point to this league, along with our own Aaron McLeod, along with the Desi Scotts, names that were known that could bring that fandom into this nascent league. And then, again, you said the on-pitch, what is it going to be? Players took a leap of faith to come to this league. And then we knew from the first kick of that ball that this was going to be a top-class, top-quality league. And then it's only continued to grow. It's on the ascent. And this is just beginning. I'm finding myself getting emotional, but it's been a heck of a ride and a privilege to do it alongside you and to grow this ecosystem. But this is a top 5 league filled with top-class people.
Top 5 league in the world. That was the goal of this league as Diana Matheson formed it. And all the statistics say that it is, Amy. It's been a pleasure calling this alongside you this season. Thanks to all of you for joining us. This broadcast has been brought to you by BMO, the official banking partner of the Northern Super League. And what a season it has been. As we sign off on this inaugural season, from all of us in front of the camera, behind the scenes, thank you for being alongside us for the emotional ups and downs, the wins, the losses, the history. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you tune in next year, will you?
I never thought that I would really be able to play in Canada like this.
It's always been something we've needed and wanted, and
now it's here.
She's done it! Ottawa's first goal!
Brenham! Now that's a finish! Look at that strike!
He's in the back of the net!
And she's got the strike!
It's in the back of the goal!